All right. Are we back? I think we're back. I think we're back. All right. So sorry about that. The internet decided to have a shit fest. I am going to check that one thing I was going to check before the out. Let's see. Okay. Enough of that. Okay, so are we back? Are we back?
We're on stream. We're on stream.
Chat. Chat. Am I back? Am I back? Chat. Chat. Rip. Kappa.
Except the whole fucking
Yay!
time.
We're back. Huh? 15 FPS? What?
I was hitting.
Oh, rip. Um, the video hasn't come back on my mobile, but okay. So, not sure. Ah, okay. So you can get other classes weapons. Okay. So, get back into this then. There we go. Okay. So, back to our handsome friend here, Mr. Malkorok. Malkorok, depending on what weapon you get, as long as it is not the he'd have to turn it back on. Aston. He'd have to turn Discord back on. He turned it off because he was getting angry at it because he couldn't connect to it. Anyway,
One second, I will.
yeah, he'll be there in a few moments. Just give him a minute. He's fighting some stuff in Dark Souls. This could be really amazing given what weapon you're given. Um, all the weapons are beneficial except for one, which is Cursed Blade, which is the worst weapon in the game.
Except for.
Oh yes, true. Like Cody said, depending on your play style of warrior,
Five.
the charged hammer that was given to shaman might be not so great because when it is destroyed, like I said, no weapon can be silenced, so it will be destroyed eventually. Whether you equip a new
Light
one,
hammer, rusty hook.
huh?
Light.
Uh, Light's hammer can be, Rusty Hook cannot. It's non-collectible. Um, uh, and no, that's not that bad. Yeah, I guess for a 7 mana 6/5, it's not the greatest. You kind of want something good for it, but basically, no. It's just he's got to open it up. He closed it because he got angry at it because of the internet. Oh, right. She's a minute behind. She's a minute behind. But anyway, you'll hear that again if you already heard it the first time. Yes, Cody's like, thanks Comcast. I agree. Comcast being a dick. But anyway, um, basically, he has a very large percentage to give you good weapons and not bad ones. basically, he has like a roughly 5% chance to give you one of the bad weapons, and there's only 3 out of 20. Is what I was seeing. So the variance of getting a good weapon is pretty high. Especially if you get like a Gore Howl, you just win on the spot.
Can't lose that.
Just win on the spot. So, I don't know. I think this guy will be pretty good. It just depends on what you play him in. If you're playing him in like a mid-range warrior, I don't think it'll be very good. I think you'd rather run some other 7-drop. If you're running him in like Control Warrior to give you that extra like Gore Howl, he could be pretty good. He could be really good actually. But okay, yep. Now I can see. Now I can see my video come back. All right, and so that is the last of the class cards of the Whispers of the Old Gods.
Definitely. Oh, is that?
That's the last of the class cards of the.
I was gonna say, let's break the.
Yep. So technically, I would stop the video right now, but it already got broken up by the internet break, so that's fine. We just started a little bit of the neutral card list with the end of the with the warrior legendary here, but we're now going to move into the neutral card list. So I'm not sure how this goes here. Okay, just go straight into the neutral regular. Is it going to go by mana cost? I wonder. Oh, what the hell? Okay, the card's invisible, I guess. Yep. So it looks like it might go by card mana cost. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, first one, Tentacle of N'Zoth. Cody, your thoughts on Tentacle of N'Zoth?
That's something.
Basically.
Is anyone else? Like maybe if you play it with like.
Oh, the Twilight Flame Caller.
Yeah, Mage one.
Yeah, the Twilight Flame Caller.
That one. Well, with.
Yeah,
Well,
like
with
the priest with
warrior,
the priest with the one
Combo well with
the hooded cultist or whatever, the one where you heal all your minions and then get Cthulhu stuff. Yeah.
It will come.
It could do okay with the one warlock one where they destroy your dudes. And if you have a bunch of little 1/1s and you kill that and it kills all your 1/1s and then gives your power to the the Usher of whatever.
Oh yeah.
Usher of Souls. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be okay, but otherwise no. This card's basically
It's
a warrior
okay.
card.
It's okay.
It's basically a warrior card.
It's
Mm-hmm.
neutral spells.
Mm-hmm.
Neutral spells look like that.
Yep. It's basically
that is
a
what
neutral spell.
Spells will look like.
Yep, it's basically like Cody just said. There is no such thing as neutral spells, and there never will be. So Blizzard creates cards like this, where it's basically a creature that's basically a spell. I mean, this creature is not a creature. It's a 1-mana 1/1. This 1-mana 1/1 is not going to win you the game or lose you the game. It's just basically a neutral spell that you can put into any deck that happens to be attached to a creature. Anyway, so that's that one. Oh, I mean, for Arena, it's a okay board clear, I guess. It's kind of like an explosive sheep. It's okay. I don't think it's very good. I don't think you'll see very much of it in Arena. Well, I mean, maybe because it's a 1-drop, but other than that, nah. Okay, Zealous Initiate. 1-mana 1/1, Death Rattle, give a random friendly minion +1/+1. So this is kind of similar to the Anubisath Sentinel. What are your thoughts, Cody?
Literally reminds me of Blizzard played their game because 1/1 gives a friendly minion extra, so it's good late game. A common. I mean,
Neutral,
obviously they're not making any like squiddy, whatever the hell, I forget what the hell they're called. basically faceless, but or the other one. They're not gonna make tribe,
Mm-hmm.
but that is basically what that
The
is.
Faceless Tribe, yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, it's a good card. A veteran player of the game can add to their deck for a 1. A new player coming into the game can.
Yeah, agreed. I think.
Blizzard thought cards through. We're gonna remove 2 whole sets. Don't fuck up.
Yeah. Well, I think this card's good, but it's only really good if you're going first. Because if you're not going first and you play this, any other character's one drop is going to trade into it.
You save it for a combo either later or.
Yeah, I mean,
you know.
it's a good card. It's just not good by itself. And they kind of bait you into thinking, oh, this is a turn 1. You play it on turn 1. It's 1 mana. No, it's more of like a combo card in that you play it alongside of something else, and if it dies, it gives that something else +1/+1. And if it doesn't, it's still a 1 itself in which you can trade and then apply its buff to something else. Anyway, Arena, I don't know. It's a pretty decent card. I'd say it would make it into an Arena deck probably pretty solidly. Yeah.
Looks like a good all-around good card.
Mm-hmm. Beckoner of Evil, Cthulhu card. I talked about this earlier in the cast. It's the first one that you get. You get this automatically when you open your first Old God pack. You get Cthulhu and 2 of these automatically. And it's 2 mana, 2/3. Give your Cthulhu +2/+2. So technically, if your Cthulhu has at least 10 attack, if you have both of these in your opening hand, and you play 1 on turn 2 and you play 1 on turn 3, your Cthulhu is at 10 attack. So.
Cthulhu max out at attack, by the way.
No, it is not. It can continually grow permanently. You could have a 300 Cthulhu if the game, parameters allowed it. Like, you had one of those ones that if you heal blah blah blah, continue to, add attack to your Cthulhu. Your Cthulhu could reach, 3 trillion if that was the case. But anyway, so everyone's gonna get this. No impact in Arena because it's not going to be pickable in Arena. Yeah. I mean, it'll be in every Cthulhu deck, every single one. There's no reason. There's no reason not to draw. I mean, not to put this. Yeah, you get 2 of these in Cthulhu. There's no reason not to put this in your Cthulhu deck ever. There's literally zero. Literally zero. Okay. We got Bilefin Tidehunter. So, it's actually kind of interesting. It's a taunt effect. It's a taunt effect basically for Murloc. It's also another Murloc to get out of what's his name? Neptulon or oops, sorry about that. Neptulon or Murloc Knight or anything like that. It's kind of interesting. What do you think, Cody? Bilefin Tidehunter. Basically the Tidehunter, Murloc Tidehunter, except instead of summoning a 1/1 Murloc, it summons a 1/1 Ooze with Taunt. It's kind of interesting.
What is the Taunt? Taunt Ooze. Oh, man. Murloc, and I'll be like, yay.
Taunt Murloc. That's kind of contradictory to what Murlocs are, though. Murlocs are supposed to kind of be the go face kind of,
Yeah.
Taunt Murloc. There is. It's called the Murloc Knight.
It's not taunting.
I think this card is great in Arena. It's not great. Just like the Tidehunter's not great in Arena. It's pretty good in Arena. This card will be better than Murloc Tidehunter, I think, in Arena, though, because of the taunt. Basically, this card could the 1/1 taunt could absorb more than 1 damage worth of damage because of the fact that it has the prefix taunt. So I think this card would be better than Tidehunter, but not like amazing. And in constructed, you probably won't see it, except for maybe a Murloc deck, and even then, maybe not. Oh, and there's a little ooze, the cutest little ooze. Twilight Geomancer. 2 mana, 1/4 taunt. Give your Cthulhu taunt wherever it is. Whoa. Whoa. What? Kind of cool. Yeah. Give your Cthulhu taunt. Wow. I don't think they would add anything like that. Caught up in Cody's Dark Souls here. Take a quick moment. Oh, parried his ass.
Yeah, I love it.
Give your Cthulhu taunt. I think that's kind of interesting. I think it's really cool. It kind of reminds me of like the Wyrmrest Agent for Priest, which is the 2 mana, 2 mana 1/4 gains taunt if you have a gains plus.
2009.
Nice.
2009.
Nice. On your souls.
Yeah.
Good year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good year.
Good
Yeah,
soul.
this reminds me of this card reminds me of like the Wyrmrest Agent for Priest. Yes. Can I turn the webcam off for a sec? Yes, I can. Okay, you're good. We're just gonna go camless just for a moment here, guys. Basically, this card kind of reminds me of like the Wyrmrest Agent for Priest. I know I've said this already, but just I need to get this thought out of my brain. It's the gains +1 attack and taunt if you have a dragon in your hand, except it doesn't gain +1. It automatically has taunt, but then it gives your Cthulhu taunt. Yeah, no problem. Back on now. Okay. It's kind of interesting. Giving your Cthulhu taunt, I think, will be a I'm not sure how useful it will be, but I don't know if it'll be not useful. Like, I'm not saying that as if, oh, that's got to be useless, but I don't know how impactful it'll be. We'll have to see. Maybe we'll see, like, not 10, maybe not like 30 Cthulhu's coming out, but we'll see maybe like 12 mana Cthulhu, or 12 attack Cthulhu's come out with taunt, and we'll be like, whoa, how do we deal with that? Then again, I almost feel like this kind of gives Black Knight a chance to come back into the meta. Like, you could just if they play this, you just save your Black Knight until Cthulhu comes out, and then you Black Knight the Cthulhu. I mean, I don't know. That's just my thoughts, but still a cool card nonetheless. All right, next card. Oh, and because the Cthulhu card, I won't see it in Arena. Dusk Boar.
No. Holy shit.
This could be interesting in Hunter with whatchamacallit, with a Houndmaster. It'd be a 6/3 with taunt. It'd be kind of interesting. Otherwise, no. This card, no. Like Cody said, no. Unless it was like you played this in Warrior with Charge, and even then, no. Just no. There's better cards for that. Just don't do that. Blizzard, why? Cards with yeah, the cards with no text are generally pretty bad. This is basically Molten Rager Jr. right here. Welcome to Molten Rager Jr., who's a beast. And like Aston pointed out, yeah, cards without any kind of text, like nothing on the card, are generally pretty bad, like really bad. Because it's the playing the card to getting an effect of some sort is usually what's good about a card. Otherwise, playing the card just for the body, that's usually for something like Arena, where you don't have a lot of like crazy spells and things to combo with anyway. So you just want a solid body to be able to play. And this is definitely not a solid body. This is like that risk reward that Molten Rager is, where you're like, I'm gonna hope they don't have a ping, or they're not gonna use their ping, which is really hopeful if you're playing against any player that's really good and is playing a ping class. But anyway, okay, so might see it picked in Arena just because it's, I don't know. No, probably won't see it played in Arena either. Twisted Worgen.
Expensive.
Yeah,
Which is
it's
what I
like
think
Cody
they were
said.
going for.
It's 1 mana more than a Worgen Infiltrator, and it's a 3/1 instead of a 2/1. Yep, 1 mana more, one more attack. It kind of reminds me of like you want to play a Wolf Rider, but you don't want to charge the Wolf Rider. You want to give like the Wolf Rider a trade option. Basically, with this being stealthed, you have like a Wolf Rider who's charged, but he can't attack when you first play him. He's just is sitting waiting. But then you can charge a Wolf Rider because they can't hit it unless they have some kind of board clear, like a Twilight Flamecaller kind of thing to deal 1 damage to your board. Basically, here, let me see. Wait a second. Camera did not be back on. Maybe that'll. I guess that's a little better. Okay. I don't know. It just feels like it's being a little laggy right now. After, but anyway, this gives you the option to basically charge a Wolf Rider for 1 mana less, and you can buff it with things because it's in stealth. Whereas Wolf Rider, you'd have to play it and then buff it that same turn. Whereas this, you can play it 1 turn, you can buff it the next, and things like this could be okay with the blessed whatever the one paladin card was, the blessed champion or whatever. Not blessed champion, that's the double attack, but the gain +2 health, gain +1 attack. That could be really good with this card because then it would make it a 4/3 for only 3 mana, and that could be pretty good. But I don't know. Running this card and that card together seems like it wouldn't be necessary. Arena, I could easily see this card played in Arena. There's already Worgen Infiltrator played and Wolf Rider played. I could easily see this card make it to Arena. Amgam Rager. Cody, your thoughts?
There's a lot of damage.
This is like the reverse of Molten Rager. It's like take Molten Rager and reverse it, and that's what this is.
There's a reason why. But I like the not a high attack, so it's like it couldn't take buff.
Cody's saying basically that, yeah, you can have like there's a bunch of yeah, basically basically Aston, but basically what this is it's good because you can buff it. It has a body in which you can apply buffs to. It's not good, but it's okay in that it can have. Yeah, it's good for like comboing. Like if you have those things that give your 1/1s +1/+1, or give your 1 attack creatures +1/+1, like Hobgoblin style. But because obviously Hobgoblin's going away, we won't see that. But something like that, or just give your minions, and it's a good enough body that it could receive a buff well, basically. But otherwise, no. This card is not very good. It's like Cody pointed out, the Silverback Patriarch card from the Beast, the Silverback Patriarch Beast, which is a 3 mana 1/4 with taunt. The reason why it's pretty bad is because of the fact that basically, well, Cody kicking bitches off the edges, and Dark Souls is just distracting the shit out of me. But anyway. Yeah, no, this card will be pretty bad because you have to play it, and then you have to buff it for it to be worth, because there's a lot of creatures with large attack and low health, but not like 1 attack low health. Like things like Magma Rager aren't run because of the fact that they have 1 health, so they can just be pinged pretty easily. There's a reason why those cards aren't run. So this card is not going to kill anything unless you buff it. And things like little things like whirling blades and things from like spare parts style aren't going to be there anymore because spare parts are going away with GVG. So this card's bad. Probably won't see it in Arena, and if you do, it'll be like that was the only good choice. Okay, Twilight Elder. Another Cthulhu card, so we won't see this card in Arena. Cody, your thoughts?
Like I said, actual play.
Yeah,
Run
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
bunch, you know, I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
see that
You
kind
can
of
put it on the
shit.
board, and then they
It's
won't hurt it
combo.
because it's one damage, and then you
Exactly.
confuse, and then next turn it's confused, and you wreck them with a
You
bunch of,
know, and who knows?
especially like power word tentacles. You could power word tentacles it, and it's at 11 damage and or 11 health, and then you
With
confuse
like
it, and
what,
it's
three,
yeah 3
11, 3?
health. Yeah, it'd be 11-3, and
That's
then
pretty big, especially if you have a way to protect it. You can't just ping it off. You'd have to flame strike it, and that's only mage.
or or uh
Or
or
direct.
frostbolt or dark bomb or
Again, but no, Dark Bomb's gone, right?
oh yeah, true.
That's why I was like, you kept saying Dark Bomb, like, yeah, Dark Bomb old. Dark Bomb wild.
Yeah, I
Dark,
didn't realize.
no more Dark
Yeah,
Bomb.
no more dark bomb.
Sucks, I know. A lot of stuff, like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
damn.
Yep.
Should we balance our game? Nah, just
Yep.
they'll get it.
So I think this is pretty good. This will be running a lot of Cthulhu decks. I don't know if it'll be running every single one. I mean, we'll have to sit down and look at all of the cultist cards and all of the legendaries and stuff, and just sit and go, okay, what is really going to be good to go in a deck? Like, are the Beckoners of Evil really going to go into every single deck or not? I mean, I know I said that they are, but are they really? You have to sit and think about that. They automatically apply it though, whereas this guy is like a chance. It's like at the end of your turn, so he at least applies +1/+1, but he could die that next turn, which means he only applied one, which is worse than the Beckoner of Evil. Whereas the Beckoner of Evil, you play it, it's done. It applied it, it doesn't matter. You can even panda it back and apply it again. So I don't know. That's why I feel like the Beckoner of Evil will at least always be played in every deck that has Cthulhu in it. Whereas this card,
Yeah.
yeah, whereas this card, it maybe not so much. Not that it's terrible, just that there might be better cards in that slot for the 3-drop that they want to play instead of applying the damage to Cthulhu. Okay. Next one is Squirming Tentacle. Cody, your thoughts?
Yep.
I think it's a really good card.
Yep.
3 mana, 2/4 with taunt. It's a 6 body. It's the 6. It's a 6 value with 6 body, and so it matches its value, and it has taunt. So the taunt actually is worth at least 1 mana, from what we can tell from spare part. Depending on what you're talking about, could be 2 mana, but basically, so it's worth. It's very worth its body. This will probably be played in arena. Most likely will be picked in arena. It's a very strong taunt card. The only reason I I struggled to see that this card will see any play is because that it's very similar to Silverback Patriarch, except it's 2 damage, not 1, which is actually what makes it actually playable.
Well, the reason why
Is a beast.
it's a beast. Yeah.
This is not a beast. Yep. So yes, I very likely see this in arena play. Maybe not so much in constructed, but we'll have to see. There might be some kind of deck that might make good use of this. Spawn of N'Zoth. Cody, your thoughts?
As I said before, this may not be as much that, in that I liked it to be a 2.
Yeah.
Or like a
Yeah.
1/4. Like, I'm having troubles killing it to get the effect, but pumping,
Yeah.
you know, buffing, taunting, blah blah blah. Like the 2/2 druid, and make it was a 1/4, then make it a 3/6.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like a 3/6 taunt that when it dies it buffs?
That'd be pretty cool.
2 manas, that'd be a 5. So, would you like a 3/6 buff all of your minions to a +1/+1 and it has taunt for 5 mana?
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah. That takes multiple cards. Think about it.
That's what the card is anyway. First of all, this is its own thing. Second of all, that's what druids, give the +2/+2 taunt. That's what it does. That's the thing anyway. And obviously, it's not great, but we're not talking about that. You don't use that druid card because it's so great. You drew it part of a combo, or it's all you have. Like you're a brand new person, and in this case, a 4/4 for 5 mana that gives everyone else +1/+1 and is a taunt. Which you'd rather, 3/6 or 4/4? That's why stuff like this is just.
In Arena, I don't think this card will be picked very much because of the tempo loss that it is for 3 mana for a 2/2, which is very easily killed unless your board is large enough. And then in Arena, you can't really hold on to cards like that. You just gotta play with your hand sometimes. So, and yeah, and constructed, I don't know. We might see it a little bit in like Paladin and stuff with, a lot of stand against the darkness kind of stuff. But other than that, I don't really see a reason. All right, Cody, Polluted Hoarder, your thoughts? What do you think?
Did they hear that? They had to have heard that.
The
Like if you like freeze mage and you need like a big body, it's a niche. You're gonna need the draw, but it's too big. I'd rather you give a body to it and make me think gotta find some way to get this thing killed. It's not gonna do a lot of damage. If anything, it's gonna do a little damage, and it most likely is just gonna be a target for dying. A 2/4 would suck, but a 2/4 might actually, although it's not a bigger polluted, not a bigger, loot hoarder, just justify a loot hoarder at its cost. I can't justify this.
yeah,
Especially since
a loot hoarder could
a
kill.
Death Rattle draw card is not worth 2 mana.
Yeah, well, and a loot hoarder could kill a polluted hoarder.
That's the scary part. More importantly, though, the fact that at 4 mana, it should either be 4 mana. It should either be a 4/4 or a 3/3 plus a good effect. It's not even a 3/3 plus a good effect. It's a crap 2 plus an okay effect. And if you're playing to be heavy-handed, where you have a lot of heavy damage to fight their heavy health, when most likely they don't have heavy health themselves because they're running the same garbage, what do you need all that damage for? You're just going to overkill unless you're going face. Stuff like this can be easily stopped.
Yep.
I mean, it's good if your opponent either can't deal with it with board clear, or they just have their own kind of polluted hoarder where they have a big smack, and it doesn't matter that you have low health because you're either just going to be going face, or you want to take out their big health stuff with it.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, I'm not going to want to fill my deck with that kind of type of card, because then someone who can deal with that in a control type fashion means you auto lose.
Yep.
Auto.
Yep. I can agree with that one. One moment, let me just fix my gate so you can hear Cody a little better. There we go. Yeah, so this card, I don't think we'll see much of it in Constructed, and I don't know, it might be okay in Arena. It kind of reminds me of like a Piloted Shredder, but -1 health, and instead of getting a drop on the board, you get a card in your hand. But obviously it's, it's not that close to a Piloted Shredder. I'm just trying to think of good parallels. Anyway.
The Shredder is a good example to think about because of how strong it is.
Infested Tauren. Or our mini Belcher replacement.
Anyone can use it. It's like a Belcher replacement. Summon a slime, taunt. No.
No? Yeah.
I'm running through the thoughts of it's like a Belcher. It sucks. It's not Belcher, and the slime doesn't have taunt. And I'm trying to think of the time when you draw this like that mech thing. What was the mech one? Harvester?
Talking about the Harvest Golem?
Harvest Golem. When you draw Harvest Golem, A, because it's a mech, it has its own mech synergy possibilities. But B, it's a less cost for, although a much less cost, meaning the thing is going to die even easier. it at least is a low cost for a low chance of the thing that pops out of it for living, but at least it has a chance to do that. This is a high cost, same thing, only one more health.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it. Giving it taunt doesn't give it enough oomph because, unless, like I said, unless you're turning it into that 1-4, buff it with a taunt thing, makes it a 3-6. What the are you doing?
Yeah.
What is it? It's nothing. It's too expensive, and that's already a guessing that you have to use another card on it to make it a good card in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. I don't like this card very much at all. I don't think you'll see much constructed play because it's just too unvaluable. You're basically paying the mana value of the slime, which, if you want a card to be good, you don't do that. Like, don't make us pay for the card value of the thing that comes out that could get silenced off. Because if it gets silenced off, we paid mana for something we didn't get. And or could be not useful. Slash, this card just gets destroyed by things like Priest. You play this card and the card gets caballed, the game's over. Basically.
Yeah, it's true.
So, I mean,
True.
there's, there's no point in playing this kind of card. There's no point in having this kind of card. This card will only probably be seen in arena and very, very probably not at all. Not very much. Like, only bad people will pick this card in arena. Okay, that's, again, the slime that comes out. It's that purple thing. Okay. Next one is Evolved Kobold. Cody, your thoughts?
No.
I agree. This card is garbage. There's literally no point or no reason to pay 2 extra mana to get 1 extra spell damage. Nothing is going to be... No spell combo is going to be worth that extra spell damage of 2 mana to pay for it. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You won't see this in arena. You won't see it in constructed. You probably just won't see this card. So, you would much rather pick a 2 mana 2/2 Kobold Geomancer than play this card. Because, oh look, +2 spell damage. That's much better than +1, right? No. Cthulhu's Chosen. Cody, your thoughts?
They traded the charge from what's his name, and they gave it divine. I mean, they traded the charge for Battlecry Cthulhu.
And they took 2 mana off.
That's true. That's true. Took the charge off and they took 2 mana off. The only bonus they really gave it, which is well, it's considered a side effect rather than a bonus, is it gives Cthulhu +2. +2/+2. Eh.
I don't know.
think we have anything like it, do
I
we?
think no. I think this card's okay. It's worth it's not quite worth its value, but it is if the Divine Shield survives. Playing something like this in like Paladin with that new Rallying Blade might be kind of interesting, because then it'd be a 5/3 with Divine Shield. I don't know. I mean, I think this card could be good, but I don't think it will be. I don't think it would be. I don't think you would want to run this card over the other cultists so far. Like, you would just want to run all the other cultists other than this one. Not because it's necessarily bad, but just because it's not as strong as the other ones. Like, actually, I think you would probably run this one over the Twilight Elder with the you gain it at the end of the turn kind of thing. But yeah, can't see it in arena, so you won't, because it's a Cthulhu card. And I don't know, you might see it in constructed. It's not like terrible, but it's not one of the better Cthulhu cultist cards. Aberrant Berserker. Cody, your thoughts?
Gosh, it's good enough. Yeah, Because of
I
what it
think
is,
I
it
think
makes
I
it a
like it.
5/5 as long as it doesn't die.
I think I like it because of the fact. Well, you mean a 5/4? Because it'd have to be damaged to
Well,
be it.
no, but my point is, it makes it a 5/5 if it becomes damaged, regardless of the less health that it has to get there. As long as it isn't taken from 1 to dead, it sort of is a 5/5 if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. I kind of like it because it's kind of reminiscent of like a Senjin, like a Senjin Shieldmaster, except instead of taunt, this thing has enrage. So you
Yeah,
kind of play it up, and unless they deal with it, you kind of just have a thing to free trade into
big stuff.
big
Yeah.
stuff, and if you play this in like a warrior deck, you got that Bled for Ichor, summon a 2/2, slime, it becomes a 5/4, you can slam it into shit. I think this card's pretty decent. Um, will it be running a lot of decks or all decks? No, probably not, but I do see where it could be ran. Um, it's very easily has a couple places like warrior and you know, basically warrior, but mage could make use of it because of the ping and stuff like that. So I don't know. This will be a cool arena card. I think mage would definitely take it. Again, warrior would probably also take it. So I don't know. We'll see. Psychotron. Psychotron. That's a cool card. I like that card.
uh,
Is it worth what
too
it is?
expensive, but I can see it taking. As long as you can buff it, it's right. If you can't buff it, it's not.
Yeah, I'm tending to agree with the too expensive. Um, it has Divine Shield and Taunt. So if we go back to the days of Annoyotron, Annoyotron is a 2 mana 1/2 Divine Shield Taunt mech. If we go and we go do we'll do our little trick of the value versus the body. Annoyotron's value is value is 4, whereas the body is 3. So it's one off of it being matching its value. So that's fine. Um,
Never gets old.
it's one off its value of matching the value. But then you got to remember it's not only a mech, it has taunt and it has divine shield. So that definitely is going to make up for at least one value or one body to add to the value. So it at least was matching in its value. Especially if it had synergies, then it was definitely better than its value. So we look at the Psychotron, and the Psychotron is a 10 value for a 7 body. Now we're at the same impasse of okay, it's definitely not matching its value this time with its body, but we also have to keep in mind it's a mech, it's a divine shield, and it's a taunt. With GVG getting cycled out, a lot of the mech synergies are going to be going away. A lot of stuff that says, oh, if you have a mech, do this. If you have a mech, do that. If you have a mech, you can do this. If you have a mech, you can play that. Well, because of that, the mech tag becomes nigh useless, basically. So now we're left to compare it to it's got to make up for 3 value with taunt and divine shield. Now, not only do we do our talent calculator or our value calculator, but we have to like think practically, think in game practically, because you can calculate values all day, but whether it's going to be useful or not is really dependent on the game that you use it in. Think of it this way: if you had a spider tank in Paladin, and you play the spider tank, and you play a cog hammer on that spider tank, you now have a taunt, divine shield, mech 3/4. That was worth 6 mana, but you also had a 2/3 weapon. So 1 mana less, you're throwing away that 2/3 weapon, and you have the 3/4 with taunt and divine shield and a mech. Is it really worth it? I don't know. I think this card requires some in-game testing before we say yay or nay on this card, because you never know. This card might end up being the next Sludge Belcher. It's 5 mana. It's 3/4. It's really hard to deal with because it's taunt and it's Divine Shield. So unless we start seeing a lot of Blood Knight come out, which we might, you're gonna have to ping off its shield first. So it has at least 1 health worth of stat extra. So it's at least a 3/5 like the Belcher was. But what made the Belcher strong was even if you killed the Belcher, another slime came out, which was a 1/2 taunt. So we will have to see if this Psychotron's taunt and Divine Shield is worth his extra 1 or 2 mana cost for him. So with that, I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm not exactly sure how to predict this one in Constructed or Arena. So we will say we'll pass on Mr. Psychotron. I totally forgot, by the way, we have to come back up here just for a moment.
We don't.
We have to talk about our friend here, the flame-wreathed Faceless. Cody is flipping off the camera. I apologize for anyone offended. He's thumbs up now. This card is one of the most broken cards in the entire card set, I would say. It's amazing. It's amazing. It feels good. It is good.
But Shaman has been poodooed on for so long.
It's what Shaman needed. This is the card. This is the card that Shaman needed. Shaman has been so bad for so long. There's only really been 1 or 2 patches where Shaman has been good. The one recent one has been Face Shaman, which is recent, like last patch or 2, and then like a long time ago with like mid-range Shaman, like back during the Naxxramas days of mid-range Shaman. Other than that, Shaman has been pretty terrible, pretty freaking terrible. So this card is like the, hey Shaman, we realize you've been a piece of shit for too long. Here's something that's flippin' amazing. And so that's what Flame-Wreathed Faceless is. This thing is so amazing. It's 4 mana for a 7/7 with an overload of 2. You recombobulate any 4 mana creature and you could get this motherfucker out of it. And this is a beast right here. You use our little, Duke Nukem. You use Mr. Duke Nukem recombobulator on a 3-drop, and your 3-drop could turn into this motherfucker right here. That's insane. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. Okay? This card is crazy. This card is, right now, the best card in the entire set, in my opinion. The only thing that could make this card better is if it was a 6/7, so it wouldn't get BGH'd.
6/8?
Maybe even a 6/8, like Cody just said. That would make this card ridiculous. Like,
holy shit.
I don't know how the game would be different. Like, literally, this would be a game-changing card if it was non-BGHable. That's all I'm gonna say about that card. Get back down to the to where we were at here. Let's see. Okay, past the Mr. Psychotron, we come down to the Cult Apothecary. Cody, your thoughts on the Cult Apothecary?
Good. All around good.
I think this is a great card for like anti-zoo, like control meta kind of stuff. Because even if your opponent isn't necessarily zoo, but they load it up with something like Stand Against the Darkness and stuff like that to really try and go ham on value stuff, but part of the value is loading up the board, this really kind of punishes them. It's just, this is more of like a bait card. This is like, hey, this exists, Rush decks. Do you want to be a Rush deck still? It's like, this card doesn't even have to be played. It's that this card exists that makes Rush decks fear. They go, oh, I could be playing against someone and they could play this Cult Apothecary and heal for like a dickload of health. Okay, well, I'm not going to play my deck then. I'll play a different one. That's how crazy some cards can be. That's how crazy some cards can be. I don't know what words I just spoke there.
Oh.
Shh. It's okay. Anyway, that's how crazy some cards.
That's how some crazy some cards can bizzle.
Yeah, that's how crazy some cards can bizzle. Exactly, like Cody just said. They don't even have to be played, and they change the game just because of their existence. I think that's what this card is. Will this be played in Arena? Probably, actually, because Arena is all about board. And if your enemy has board and you don't, playing this card won't necessarily win you the game, but it could help you come back. It could help you, like, stay in it. It could also just delay the inevitable, you know. That's how most heal because of something cards are like. That's why Antique Healbot was always so good, because it wasn't like a based on something. It was just you heal. That's it. With this card, it's like not only are you healing, but you're not just flat healing. You're healing because your opponent has a large board. Anyway, I think it'll be okay. We probably won't see too much of it in Constructed unless we see a lot of rush decks, and then we might see a few. But yeah, it's strictly better than an Antique Healbot if they have 4 minions on the board or more, because it heals the same amount Antique Healbot does and has a better body than Antique Healbot does. But Antique Healbot's going away in GVG anyway, so that's fine. Okay, and we have the Nerubian Prophet. Your thoughts on that, Cody?
1 second.
Yep.
Killing bitches. To start of your turn, reduce this card's cost.
How does that work?
It's got to be in hand. It's got to be.
Yeah.
It's sort of like
the Shifter Xeris. While he's in your hand.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. But I was thinking more like on the line of how what's his name? It gets bigger based on dudes that die, or the other one.
Oh, Bolvar.
Or the other one that reduces the mana cost of stuff that you draw. It's sort of like that hidden OP.
Or Frost Giant, like when you're using your hero power.
I guess it starts. That's a really good example of what stuff starts to go along with other stuff, like along with that theme of hidden stuff is happening.
Yeah, hidden things are happening in your hand and in your deck, so you never know. You have to kind of keep an eye out, or even just he's kind of had that card in his hand for a few turns. What's up with that? And you go, oh, it's the Combustor. It's the Nerubian Prophet.
I like it.
I think it's kind of interesting.
I don't think if it's OP, but I like it.
I think it'll be cool in Arena. I think people will actually play this card in Arena, because there's actually a high chance that you could play this. Like, keep it in your opener, and then by like turn 3 you could actually play it. Yeah, by like turn 3 you could actually play it. So this might actually be a pretty cool card. But will it see constructed play? Probably not. Cards that don't have an effect, we've already talked about this, but cards that don't have an effect or like an outright effect most likely won't be played. Because this card doesn't have an outright effect, it has like a reduction effect. Because its body is not crazy, which is usually what the reduction effect cards are, is that their body is pretty crazy, so that's the reason why it's run. Because this thing's body isn't crazy, means it won't do anything. Like it won't be impactful in Constructed, and thus won't be played. Like the reason why the Giants are played is because their reduction is so that they can be played, but their body is huge. They're 8/8s. That's why even though they don't have any text per se, other than reducing their cost, that's why they're playable. But you notice things like Dragon's Breath for Mage, the one Drake, I forget what it's called, Black Drake or whatever. The one that when creatures die, it reduces its mana cost, so you can play it. Other cards like that, those certain ones aren't played a lot because of the fact that, yeah, they have their things reduced, but their body isn't super amazing. Like that Black Drake thing's only got 4 health, so it dies pretty easily.
Blizzard needs to be better about body image.
Cody says hashtag Blizzard needs to be better about body image. It doesn't have a good body, Kappa. No. Anyway,
that's racist.
All right, so Grotesque Dragonhawk. Cody, your thoughts?
1 second. It's Harpy all over again.
It's Harpy, but one more mana for one more health. But it's a beast.
Get out of here.
And why Blizzard makes these cards confuses me. This card is I'm gonna be official about it. This card is okay. The reason why this card is okay is because it's a beast. That is the only reason. Because then this could be played on like turn 7
Yes.
in like a beast druid or something. Then it survives somehow. Let's just say it survives. Then you mark of your Sajit. You draw a card. It's a 7/7 now. You know, there's some synergies that could go well with this because it's a strong Wind Fury. It's not just like a weak, it's not like a 1 health or whatever Wind Fury. It's actually got a body behind the Wind Fury. But because of the large cost, that's what makes the issue. If it wasn't such a large cost, then you could play this card, have it probably survive the turn, and then buff it like mad and probably OTK. That's why they're afraid. That's why the cost is higher, high enough that it's like, this card isn't that great. Then again, why make the card at all? Why not just not make the card? The point is because the combo could exist. The combo could be there. Someone could play this card in Warrior, and on like turn 10, play this card and charge it, and have like 16 damage. It adds 2, so 14 damage. Oh, new combo, 10 mana combo for Warrior. I mean, it's the potential for it to be okay is there, or the potential for it to be kind of crazy is there, but it requires too much work. Like, now, if you've gotten this in your hand and it gets Thaurissan a couple of times, now we're talking about something that could be pretty scary. Especially if you have other combo cards with this card in your hand when that happens. Or if you're playing like a Beast Hunter and you have that like call pet, and it like calls pets this, and then it's reduced by like 3, so it's like a 4 mana 5/5 with Wind Fury. That might be a little insane. But otherwise, mediocre card. Probably won't see it in Constructed, probably won't see it in Arena. You might see it in Arena. It's possible. It is a decent enough drop in Arena that they might not be able to deal with it, and you might be able to just buff it into Insanity and then murder them. I don't know. But, yeah. Bog Creeper. Your thoughts, Cody, on the Bog Creeper?
It's literally the Bog Creeper.
It's the Fen Creeper.
Fen Creeper
with the gnome who's
riding.
with the gnome who's gone insane by the old gods and is riding the Bog Creeper. And the Bog Creeper's trying to catch a butterfly.
I don't know if it's worth 7, but I like it.
It's kind of reminiscent of like, add 1 more health, add 1 more mana, add taunt, ogre. It's like take an ogre, add a mana to it, add a health to it, add taunt to it. I think that might actually be worth. I don't know. Is it worth running in Constructed? No. No, it is not. Is it okay in Arena? Yeah. Yeah, this card seems pretty decent in Arena. Not bad. I would say this card, you would take this card. This is a card you would want to run in Arena. When they stumble off like that, man. So I think this is a really great Arena card. I think it's strong. It's not a lot of removal in Arena. It dodges the BGH range of being 6 attack, which is cool. I like that.
Yeah, I like it. It's pretty general. It's a pretty general card.
Yeah, it's a solid Arena card. This is like a 10 out of 10 Arena card.
Like I said, they started to like think about the game that they create.
Yeah, I've realized they started to make a lot of cards that are Arena. And even though they're usable in Constructed, or they're available to open in packs that you get from Constructed, they're also there for Arena.
It plays well in Constructed if you don't have a deck already. It's also decent for just picking out in general, especially if you're going for a certain theme.
And it might be pretty insane if you like a Taunt Warrior with like Bolster and shit.
That's what I'm saying.
But is Bolster, is that TGT? I think it is TGT. Yeah.
Yeah, Bolster.
Yeah.
It just came out.
Yeah. So I mean, It might be pretty decent in certain archetypes, but otherwise it's just a pretty mid-range card, and it's good in Arena. I'm almost willing to bet people would love this card in Arena. Right. So, Eldritch Horror. Your thoughts on Eldritch Horror?
What is this comparing to? Think about that, and then come back at that with me. What is this comparing to? Like, what currently already exists in the game? Is this comparing to?
This is comparing to a giant. Giant has an 8 mana.
That's that expensive.
This is comparing to a giant in the. It's an 8 mana 8/8, where they hacked off the 2 damage on the 8 and put it on the health.
Do we have anything that's that big without it just being giant or something? Do we have anything that big?
Nope.
In Classic?
Nope, I don't think so.
It's just a big ass late game where you don't own, like.
Well, this is basically it's an BGHable giant.
Yeah.
Where it has a large amount of attack, a large amount of health.
I like how they really started thinking about that a lot. Like, a lot of things start ducking beneath BGH.
Yeah, there was one patch. There was one patch where everyone was running
too much shit. Too much shit.
There was one patch where everyone was running like decks that were one attack under BGH, all of the cards, every single one of them. But people were still running BGH, so it would be a dead card. They would sit in their hand the whole game because they would expect them to play that 7 attack creature, and then it never would come out. So like Priest, I know there was a Priest deck specifically that was like, dodge around BGH and other priests. So it was like a lot of 4s, a lot of 6s. Obviously the 6s would get hit by death, but they're trying to say dodge around the priest, with 4 attack creatures, and then only the really good, like 2 attacks or whatever, anything that was other paintable, and then dodge around BGH where it had like Chromagus and other stuff like that. But yeah, this the Gurabashi. Well, there's the Gurabashi Berserker, which is a 5 mana 2/7, but you might be thinking about like Lord of the Arena, maybe 6 mana 6/5 taunt. I don't know. But yeah, the other card's very solid. This one right here is a very solid card. It's a larger drop that's a taunt with a large amount of health that you want. It's not like it's a lot of times in Arena when you start to get to the later game, you start to either both of you or one of you starts to get to a pretty low amount of health because one of you's been smacking on the other. And so this is kind of nice to drop down because there's not a lot of removal in Arena. So the largeness of the body for this is what really helps sustain you. It's like they have to beat through 8 health on a creature before they can get to your health again. And sometimes that can be a little much, unless they have some kind of damage, removal, some way to do something like that. But yeah, back to Eldritch Horror here. The practicalness of this card feels a little.
It feels right. It just feels.
It feels right, but it feels wrong in that it's another one of those no effect. So sure, you play this and it dodges BGH, but then it absorbs every other removal. And if you're playing one card, it's like the age-old issue of playing a card in Hearthstone. If you play the card and the enemy has removal, it gets removed, you wasted your entire turn, and 9 times out of 10, their removal is not going to be their entire turn. Unless they're playing, like, Priest, and their removal is, like, entombing it. And even then, they still have 4 more mana if it's, like, turn 10, or if, let's just say it's their turn 8, right after your turn 8 of playing this. They entomb it, and then they still have the ability to heal, play a 2-drop, something like that. Whereas you spent your entire turn doing that, and that's only Priest that has that issue with only Entomb specifically. They could Death it, that's 3 mana. They still have 5 more mana to play something else. It's the issue of the value is not worth the tempo loss, especially when the value disappears when they remove it. So that's why cards like this with no effect are bad, even though they seem like they should be really good. And technically they are in certain situations. So, I don't know. In Arena, this card can actually see a lot of use in Arena because of, like I said, the lack of removal in Arena. You're not fearing as much that, loss of tempo. You just play a huge body that you can get value out of by either trading into their minions or something you can keep hitting their face every turn, and they have to trade their minions into it to kill it, or eventually draw that removal or damage or whatever, and then they got to deal 10 damage to it if it's not direct removal like a Hex or something. So I think it's a good card in Arena. Probably won't see much use in Constructed. But yeah. Okay, next card. The Faceless Behemoth. It's a 10 mana 10/10.
There exists no neutral 10 mana 10 type stuff, so it needs to exist.
Yep. Like Cody said, there's no 10 mana 10/10s that exist, so our first 10 mana 10/10 is kind of interesting.
Especially since, in general, there doesn't exist many non-legendary big body things, like high-cost things.
Yeah, so like Cody's saying, for new players who don't have like legendaries, this is basically for those new players that, because a lot of the big bodies like the 9 drops, the 8 drops, the 10 drops are all legendary, and if they're not legendary, they're epic, like the giants. This is giving a common option to people to have a larger drop in their deck, so they don't have to feel like they have to invest either the dust in getting a legendary or a epic, and they can invest their dust more intelligently or more smartly into cards like the Eldritch Horror here or this Faceless Behemoth if they want a really fatty drop like that. The issue with this card specifically, though, is what we've been talking about all along with the removal, but then he also is within range of a certain card called Big Game Hunter. And Big Game Hunter is a pain in the ass, and was said to have been worked on by Blizzard, and technically was, but not enough. And we'll see all the card nerfs. I'm gonna pull those up as well for the classic and basic cards. But he still is very much within the range of this. This guy is still very much within range of the Big Game Hunter. So playing this card on turn 10 and getting it Big Game Huntered basically means the game's over. I mean, unless you have other stuff. Most of the time with these kind of 10/10s, it harkens back to that thing I mentioned earlier about the win more. It's like, if they don't have a way to deal with it, you basically win, but 9 times out of 10 they're going to have a way to deal with it. So the only way that losing this doesn't hurt you is if you were already winning. So you either play this and lose, or you play this and win anyway because you were going to win without its help. So, you might see Arena work again, just like this guy, because of the fact that it's hard to find removal like that in Arena, and if it is, there's sometimes the fact that they have to remove something earlier on in the game, and that can hurt them later in the game when something like this comes out and they have to deal with it. So, okay, there's that guy. Disciple of Cthulhu. Deal 2 damage and give your Cthulhu +2/+2. 3 mana 2/1. Your thoughts, Cody?
Pretty decent. I probably would run it, depending on the deck.
Yeah, I actually like this card. It chooses the 2 damage. Yeah,
it's really good. I like that.
I like this.
Strong. Feels strong.
I like this card. It's kind of like the Stormpike Commando, except yeah, it's a tough game. Me and Cody have been playing it for years. We played it back during the beta, and more importantly for our background with card games in general, me and Cody have been playing card games since we were young, like 4 or 5. I more specifically with my experience with card games, I actually played the original World of Warcraft trading card game, which is what basically Hearthstone turned into. The lead designer of Hearthstone, Ben Brode, actually worked on the WoW TCG, the World of Warcraft trading card game. So he knows, at least background-wise, where he's coming from with card games, at the very least. So I have faith that he knows what he's doing, and he with this is shown as much that he and his team are actually working towards a better Hearthstone and not just stylizing with the same BS gimmicks that they've been doing with the last couple expansions, which have seemed almost out of their hands, almost like they did it like they were going for that gimmick and they were kind of trying to have fun with it, and then it was like, you've gone too far. You need to take this to the end, or you're like you've designed this mechanic. You need to actually flesh it out and use it, or we're gonna cut your funding kind of thing, but not actually cut the funding. It's just like you've spent too much resources on this. You have to finish it. You can't scrap it. Basically, is what you know. But anyway, besides all that, it really does take a getting used to. You kind of got to settle into the game and play a couple hundred games before you really just get into it and know what you're doing. Watching other people.
I'd say a lot of the different adventures kind of teach you sort of like mechanical thought behind certain things.
Yeah.
Like the adventures for stuff.
I totally agree.
Especially when not the actual bosses, not the actual bosses themselves, but the actual like challenges. I'd say in general, challenge yourself by doing specific things. Like read through all the cards. Like you'd read through a dictionary to learn words. Open up the collection, turn on crafting, and read through all of the cards. The more that you know about everything, the less you're going to be surprised when something comes out.
Yep. See what synergizes with what. See what other people.
Watch a specific person who talks about like in a pro manner. Watch someone who talks about it like a pro player, and watch and listen to what they're saying. I hate to say it, but watch Trump. Trump. There's a lot of Trump stuff where he's basically just teaching you the interactions between things. And if you start there and you move on to someone more important, or you get it to the point where you're starting to really like have fun with learning it yourself, boom, you basically doing what you need to do to become better.
Yep. Yeah. Watching someone like a pro player, or like a high level player play Hearthstone can be confusing at first, but if you watch them enough, you start to you listen to what they say and you watch their play, and you go. What I like to do is I like to sit and I watch and I go, okay.
Someone knows what they're doing too, like us.
Yeah, exactly. Like Cody's saying, like someone like who knows what they're doing, like us, or high level players. What I usually do is I go, okay. I sit down and I watch them draw their hand. I see them what they mulligan, and I go, okay, would I have done that? And then why wouldn't I have done that? And then sometimes if they're a good enough streamer or just person in general. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But basically, if they're a good streamer, they'll go, well, I mulliganed this because that, and that, and they'll give reasons. And so you eventually start to go, okay, so you watch them mulligan, and then you either mute them, or sometimes they don't say their justification, and I go, okay, well, I would mulligan that one, and that one, and that one. And then, if they've mulliganed the cards that you picked, then that was a good mulligan. And so then you basically go play by play. You go, okay, they played that. Would I have played that? Why would I have played that? Why would I have not played that? Is there reasons? What is their reasons? Why would, And you basically just sit there and you do that every turn. You go, okay, so he played this. And then you think, you really start to, once you get a good solid knowledge of all the cards in the game, or a large majority of the cards that are being used in the game, you'll start to know when things feel kind of that tickle, like when playing against a paladin. And the paladin has Consecrate in their hand. And you kind of get that tickle of like, they've been kind of playing strangely. They've been like reducing my creatures down to 2 health, all of them. Why would they start doing that unless they have Consecrate, where Consecrate deals 2 damage to all your creatures on your board? So you start to pick up things like that where you go, okay, I see he's setting me up for a Consecrate. Or I notice he's letting me build a little large of a board without clearing it. He's got to have some way that he's going to deal with it. Or most of the time, which is really funny, not most of the time, but sometimes, which is really funny, you'd be like, oh, well, he's letting me build a board. What is happening? And then you just win. They just concede. And it's like, oh, well, usually that's because their hand sucked. Or, they didn't think they had some kind of answer to whatever you were doing. But it's really funny when that happens because you're preparing. You're like, oh, they're gonna consecrate me, and then it doesn't happen, and they concede, and you're like, oh, okay, well I got all worked up for nothing. But anyway,
I was all prepared for the worst, and nothing worse happened.
yeah, I was all prepared for the worst, and nothing worse happened. What Cody said, yeah. But back to this card. This card, I like this card a lot. I think the 2/1 body for the 3 mana feels bad at first when you look at it. You're like, oh man, that sucks, and then you go, you dealing 2 damage to whatever you want to deal 2 damage to, and then you're adding +2/+2 to your Cthulhu. So this is another one of those really strong. You can add this and then the Beckoners of Evil, and you could probably run about like 4 Cultist cards and Cthulhu. Not including your class Cthulhu card, because your class Cthulhu card is almost always insane. Depending on the situation, of course. But basically, you could run 4 of the neutral cultists and your class cultist and Cthulhu, and probably be pretty safe. And then run the rest of the cards as normal, removals, strong, board cards, board clears, stuff like that. All the normal stuff you'd put into a deck. Because you want to make a combo deck, but you don't want to go so far into the combo that it's like your deck is unreliable or gimmicky, because then
you don't want it to become a gimmick. You want it to just become a theme.
Yes, exactly like Cody said. You don't want your deck to be a gimmick. You want it to be a theme. You want it to be based around, if you get these, your game could be insane. But you don't want it to be that if you don't get them, your deck sucks. That's never how you want to play your deck. You never want to play it to, if you get this, you win. If you don't, you lose. Now, what you can do is you can build a deck that is really like basically RNG based, in that it's like, if you get that, you win on the spot. But if you don't, it's not like you're going to lose on the spot, but you definitely don't do as strong until you get to that point where you draw it. Kind of like a combo. That's what a combo deck is. It's like your deck is strong, but it's strong because it relies off of having that combo like Druid with the Force of Nature Savage War as of the current moment until the Whispers comes out. Where you basically, you can kind of beat your... Yeah, you beat your opponent down to 14 health roughly, or you kind of like threaten them, and then you set up this board and you say, okay, you got to clear my board and keep yourself above 14 health, or else I kill you in 1 turn. Now that's one deck type that I mean by that, but there's decks like that, like Freeze Mage, where it's like, okay, you have to kill me by going through all of my health, maybe once, maybe even twice, and survive my amount of damage because I have damage spells the whole time hitting you, and setting your health lower with things like Alexstrasza and things like that. So those are the kind of decks that are like combo decks that you can be like, yeah, that's kind of like what, that's kind of riding that edge of, it's kind of like if you don't get the combo you lose, but it's not 100%. Like, you can still win without having to get your combo. You can still win as a combo druid without drawing your combo and playing it. You can still win as Freeze Mage without Alexstraszaing them to get them low and then using your spells that way. So, anyway, all that chatter aside, let's move on to the next card. Next card is Silithid Swarmer.
Not gimmick, is it?
Yes, very gimmicky. I don't like this card at all. 3 mana, 3/5, can only attack if your hero attacked this turn.
That's pretty good if it's like centered around something.
It's only usable in decks that have weapons, because Blingtron is going away, so not everyone will have the ability to attack anymore. So decks that have weapons or Druid.
Druid.
That's the only. There's no beast.
It's not a beast.
Yeah.
I think it's not a beast because of that. Because they don't want you to be able to do that. Druid.
Druid or Hunter would be really good if it was.
Druid. Rogue. Rogue has weapon.
Hunter does too. Paladin does too.
Rogue anytime it wants.
Yeah, fair enough.
Neither for the other two.
Fair enough. But yeah. So I don't know. I think this card's very weak. There's no synergize. It's not strong enough. A 3 mana 3/5 isn't like, whoa, crazy enough to be like require a negative to outweigh its positive. The positive for the card isn't strong enough to outweigh the negative, is what I mean. The negative is you can't attack.
Body, if you can make it taunt, it's really good for cheap. I like it. It's a great combo card for plus, +1, +1, +2, +2 taunt, big body, whatever, druid, rogue, a weapon. It's gimmick, but it has the potential. Minus it, especially if you can be silenced. If you can just get silenced, it's big. Whether an enemy silences it, whether
paying
you silence
one
it,
mana less to gain a you have to silence it effect.
you don't have to silence it. To make it attack whenever you want, you have to silence
Why run this card when you could run Aberrant Berserker?
Because Aberrant Berserker is more expensive than it.
1 mana expensive.
When a 3 mana is a 3 mana slot, whereas a 4 mana is a 4 mana slot, it could mean the difference.
Okay, fair enough.
Especially if you can reliably attack. The only thing is you have to either spend 2 mana each turn for a hero power in the case of Druid, or to hero power in the case of Rogue, and then use it for 2 turns. So basically, 1 mana each turn for Rogue.
And 2 mana each turn for Druid.
Yes. It's not great. It's just not bad.
Okay, I could go with that. It's not great, but it's not bad.
It's a niche.
Yep.
In that it's a gimmick.
We already talked about how that's kind of silly, though, didn't we? Kick him. Oh.
I don't want to do anything that might throw me off, especially when I know I got him.
Okay. Well, this card will not see play in Arena at all.
I totally agree.
And it probably won't see any play in Constructed, because as much as that would be great to have or to think about how that could be possible, people aren't going to do that. Okay, our next card is Blackwater Pirate. Not sure if female or not, Kappa. Really not sure if female or not, Kappa.
Definitely female. Look at its face.
But
Metrosexual.
But the hair, I was gonna say, but the hair and like the muscular arm and the slightly exposed belly. I don't know. It's like female man. I'm like, what is it?
It's probably a dude.
It's probably a woman.
Huh?
It's probably a woman. That's the funny part. It's probably a woman. We'll hear when we play it in game. But anyway, 4 mana, 2/5. Your weapons cost 2 less.
It's got a pretty manly chest, and you said it has facial hair. I wonder if that's pasted on kind of thing.
No, I didn't say facial hair. It's just got like, you know.
Is that its hair coming down from its face, or is that facial hair? Because last time I checked, women don't have facial hair. Not like that.
I don't see facial hair.
Black hair right there on the side.
That's coming out from the ear.
Ah, then definitely a woman.
Yeah, I guess so. It would have like a beard if it was a man. A sweet transvestite, Kappa.
I guess one of those ones where it's like Blizzard being like, "Hey, we're more conscious."
Anyway, so what do you think about the card itself?
I think it's pretty questionable because it's gay. I mean,
really? I'm talking about the usefulness of the card. Did you get your souls back? Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Good.
Good?
Good. One of those ones where it's like...
It's hearkening me back to the ancient mage days. 4 mana, 2/5.
It's the kind of stuff that they intend you to use in the infinite weapon character.
Yeah.
The infinite weapon thing.
Yeah. But even that kind of feels ugly.
It doesn't... I never said it felt good and that you just like want to rub it all over your face and stuff. I'm just saying it...
Yeah. No, I mean, okay, that's cool. I think that's a cool card to add to kind of give that kind of utility to a card like that. It's also a pirate, so it synergizes with like pirate stuff. So that's pretty cool. Pirates and weapons. They like weapons. pirates and weapons and pirates. Yeah. All right. So we'll have to see if this card is a male or a female when it comes out in 4 days. I'm gonna put my bet on female.
I'll put my bet on. It's got the bubes. The bubes. Oh my gosh! What kind of bullshit is this?
The Ganker Squad. Midnight Drake. Okay. So we have the reverse Twilight Drake this time. The ghost comes out of nowhere and backstabs you. We have the reverse Drake. I think it's kind of interesting.
Reverse?
Yeah, instead of gaining health, it gains attack. 1 attack for each card, other card in your hand. 4 mana, 4/1, but it's 1/4 this time.
Bullshit.
Bullshit? What do you mean?
Just fucking bullshit. It's OP.
It's OP?
Yeah, it's OP.
Cody thinks this is OP. I think it's okay because of the fact that
I think it's bullshit.
I think it'll be good. I think it will be used for sure because it's a dragon, and because it can gain a lot of damage from having a decent sized hand. This card will be used in a lot of dragon decks, I believe, because of the fact that yeah, it's got a low health, but the damage will be where it comes in. Whereas if you have at least 5 cards in your hand, this will be a 6/4. It'll be a 4 mana 6/4. If you have 4 mana, if you have 4 cards in your hand, it'll be a 4 mana 5/4. If you have 3 cards in your hand, it's a 4 mana 4/4. So it's at least value at 3 cards in your hand. It becomes the Volcanic Drake. That was the one I was thinking of earlier. It becomes a Volcanic Drake at 5 cards in your hand. It becomes a giant worth of damage at 7 cards in your hand. And it becomes 10 damage, 10/4 for 4 mana at 9 cards in your hand. So, I don't know. I think it'll be pretty strong. I don't know if it'll be like insane, but it'll be pretty strong. I believe that the Twilight Drake is actually probably stronger. That's just my opinion, though. Because the fact that the more health is more relevant usually. 4 attack is not counterable by BGH. Especially if this thing gets up to BGH range, which it could very easily do if you're like trying to build, you're trying to build it up to have a super large attack, and then you build it into BGH range and it gets BGH'd. But then, that's what you want people to use their BGH on, your 4 mana 7/4, not your 10 mana 10/10 or something like that. Anyway, let's see here. What else? Generally when it comes to stuff like the Twilight Drake, it can get like removed with like Earth Shock and stuff like that, whereas this will go to a 1/3 if Earth Shocked. So, I don't know. I mean, it survives Earth Shock, Kappa, but it reduces its damage down to 1, which sucks. Its low health just is indicative of any kind of removal damage-wise, not even just removal, but just damage, Could equip a weapon and hit it. You could use a minion, a minion that's buffed with something and hit it, stuff like that. I think it's strong, but it won't be like game-breaking like the Twilight Drake was for Handlock and stuff. But we definitely will see play of it in Constructed. In Arena, no, probably not. We'll see about as much of it as we see whatchamacallit. We'll see about as much of it as we see the Twilight Drake in Arena, which is not a lot. I think this card is great, but it is a expansion too late. This card is an expansion too late. This guy missed the bus. He missed the ticket. He was like, oh, hey, everyone's playing their secrets and stuff.
Yep, I agree completely.
Everyone's playing their secrets and stuff. Secret Paladins. No, this was the last card.
No, I totally agree.
Oh, playing secrets and stuff. Look, Secret Paladin. Oh, and secret mage. Oh, freeze mage.
Oh, well, no.
It might be pretty good to freeze mage.
Say freeze mage. That will probably be like the how you kill freeze mage if you're fighting freeze mage.
But then again, you might as well just do Kazan. It's the same thing. But I guess this is like it destroys the ice barrier and the ice block instead of just taking one or the other.
Steals one for you,
yeah, whereas this destroys both.
Destroys them all and then gives you it anyway.
Yeah,
just
fair enough.
More
fair enough.
habitable and usable way.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But yeah, this guy definitely missed the boat on that one. He was like, Secret Paladin he would have destroyed, Freeze Mage he would have destroyed, but there's a lot more, there's going to be a lot less secrets being played in the game after this next coming patch because of the fact that Mad Scientist is being removed with Naxxramas. And with the ease of the ability to get a secret onto the board, that was kind of the reason why people played secrets, was because it was so easy to get one on out of your deck, not only just out of your deck, but played, for your hero, especially mage, because you played a 2-mana 2/2 that when it died played a 3-mana secret from your deck. That's insane. Paladin wasn't so crazy, that's why it wasn't ever really run, because it was 2 mana, play a 1-mana secret from your deck. Not as insane, but still kind of okay. And then Hunter, it was played because obviously 2 mana 2/2 summon a 2-mana secret from your deck. That's pretty crazy too. But yeah, basically, excuse me. This guy will be pretty decent to counter the freeze mages on ladder, but he kind of missed it. He kind of missed the boat on that one because secrets will, as a whole, kind of be lower or less. The only deck that will probably run secrets now will be freeze mage. So, very cool card though. I like the concept. I think it's very cool. If there are still secret paladins somewhere in the standard meta, like even though the Death of Avenge, which is one of the best secrets that Paladin has, maybe we'll see a return of or the continuation of Secret Paladin just minus the Avenge, and maybe they'll run Repentance instead or something. I don't know. That could destroy that, but. In Wild, this card is going to be insane. This card will dominate Wild, but that's Wild.
I haven't really talked about that, which actually a lot of those cards will sort of be that anyway, which is nice. It's good that it is that way, but can't rely upon them when standard is supposed to be what we're relying upon.
Yep. All right. So the next card is Corrupted Healbot. Cody, your thoughts on Mr. Corrupted Healbot?
Garbo. I mean, if you can silence it, but...
If you can silence this card, it's okay.
It's just Garbo.
If you're playing it in Priest with, like, Akanai, it could be pretty good. Otherwise,
yeah,
not.
Yeah, Priest, Akanai.
Otherwise, nah. This card sucks. It's not worth... The drawback is not worth the... Like, there was a reason why Zombie Chow was insane. Because... a 2/3 on turn 1 was insane, whether it healed your opponent or not. On turn 5,
like a 6/7 or something for it to be like.
Or like a 4 mana even.
Okay.
But yeah, because this comes way too late, it's like a 5 mana. Your opponent's most likely going to have taken at least 8 damage, and if not, well, I mean, it's still not that bad to gain. Basically heal to full. Is might as well what the card says. Unless you're like rush. Unless they're like rushing, and then, No, unless that was in your rush deck to heal them, and then you wouldn't play that if you were playing a rush deck anyway, because then it would heal them. I'm not quite sure. There's 134, I know, in the whole set. I'm not sure how many we have remaining. This is our little bar here, so you could see... on the right side. Yeah, you can see on the right side how much more scrolling we have left to do. I'm not sure how much of that is like comments. I'm not sure if there's comments at the bottom of this or not. But yeah, so probably no comments. So that's probably just how many cards we have left to go. We've gone through. I don't know how many we've gone through, but it's 134. So there's a lot to talk about. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. Corrupted Seer. 6 mana, 2/3. All right. So what's this battle cry effect, Cody? What are we paying 6 mana for a 2/3 for?
Nothing. Consecrate.
Consecrate to all. Consecrate to all non-Murloc minions, which can mean your own if you have non-Murlocs.
I don't know. It's garbage.
It's that this card. Why?
It's another 6 mana. It's another 6 mana.
It's another. Yeah.
If something's gonna drop a 6 mana, it's
No, it's another one of those. It's another one of those.
another one. No, it's garbage.
It's another one of those. How you don't do a spell and a minion together card. Because it's a 2 mana 2/3 with a 4 mana consecrate. What's really retarded about it is it should be a 4 mana 2/3 with a 2 mana demon wrath, but instead of demons, it's a Murloc wrath. That's how this card should be. It should be a 4 mana 2/3. Yeah, Cody, you agree? 4 mana 2/3. So it's a 2 mana 2/3 with a 2 mana demon, or a Murloc wrath. A Murloc wrath. That's funny.
pretty much.
Yeah. So this card's bad. Let's move on.
This card's bad, and you and they should feel bad.
Ski Ram Cultist. What do you think, Cody?
Pretty good.
Yep. I think
More of those like, people gotta have good cards.
it's pretty cool. I think it's a reverse ogre, but it's a Cthulhu card, so you don't have to feel like, oh,
Over time. The problem I have with a lot of those Cthulhu cards being that big is unless you're holding on to your Cthulhu, you don't want to hold on to those Cthulhu cards.
Well, Cthulhu is 10 mana, so you have to wait until 10 or 10. So it's kind of like all along the way on your journey to turn 10, unless you're like a ramp druid, here's a card to play. But then again, you're not going to be wanting to just play minions the whole time. You're going to be wanting to play spells and stuff to counter your enemies, stuff. So it's kind of like what you're saying, but slightly different. Anyway, I like this card. I think it's cool. It's kind of like a reverse giant. Okay.
Reverse ogre.
Yeah, reverse ogre. Hold on. Okay, that should have fixed the jittering sound. That's my stupid.
You gotta have something that can tell you when it's doing. I had that. I don't remember what it was, but I had that.
It's probably me. I just gotta play music in the background or something.
Really, really low classical.
Yeah. So one moment while I do that.
Really, really, really low classical. Piano, most likely.
Yeah, that should be good. That shouldn't be too loud.
Do you have it really low?
Yep, it should be pretty good. So, let's get the top bar off there. Yeah, tell me if you think the piano music is too low or not, not low enough. Because it's just supposed to kind of be a background so that I can tell whether my audio engine starts to screw up. But we're almost done here anyway, so it should be fine, but still. Anyway, so, next card. Next card, Doomcaller.
If it's dead?
If it's dead, shuffle it into your deck.
If it's dead?
Whoa. If Cthulhu is dead, shuffle it into your deck. Whoa. But obviously it loses if it loses all of its buffs, obviously, but whoa.
I thought it was talking about that creature. Pretty good. I like it.
I like that a lot. I think that's cool. Shuffle Cthulhu into your deck.
I don't understand why Cthulhu is like the headpiece of this.
What do you mean? He's supposed to be the old god, all the cultists.
Oh, is that because all the cultists worship him?
Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be the worshipping of Cthulhu. It's basically like the Twilight, the Twilight Hammer for what's his name? Goodbye. But yeah, no, I like that card. That's kind of cool.
Really cool. Absolutely feels like it's necessary.
All right, next one is the Twilight Summoner. This is another, priest wrecks this card in more ways than one. Priest just decimates this card, man. I totally forgot about the other one, by the way. But Priest decimates this card. Cabal.
Decimates this card, yeah.
Cabal. Shadow Madness. Use it, attack, get the 5/5. I totally forgot that the same thing could happen with the Tauren too. Shadow Madness, attack with the Tauren. Oh man. Priest just destroys this card. But yeah, pretty cool. It's a decent card for like a Death Rattle Rogue, Death Rattle Rogue, or Raptor Rogue is more what it's called because of the Raptor that's used in it. What else is cool about this card? I guess it's another one of those combo cards you could use with like Herald Village kind of thing. Like Herald Village, a 1/1 of it version, and obviously it's a 1/1 already, but it summons the 5/5 still. Or Shadow Caller it, another rogue card you'd probably use in the Raptor deck. It seems pretty cool. But yeah, I like this card. Arena probably won't see it a lot. Have I been talking about the Arena ramifications for the last couple? I don't think so. This one, you're not really going to see it in Arena at all. This one's garbage. This one's garbage. I think it's because the last couple were been bad, so I just didn't even talk about the cards really in general. Cthulhu card won't be. Cthulhu card won't be. Okay, that's why. Okay, this card won't be super great in Arena, I don't think.
It's very bad.
It's very
tempo, and that's what Arena is about, is tempo.
Yep, it's terrible tempo, which is, well, I mean, it's actually not that bad of tempo.
It is.
It's more of a value loss because of the fact that the value of a 4 for a 1/1 is garbage.
No, it's terrible tempo because you have to play it and then kill it, which means that unless you have some way to charge it, it's tempo loss. It's tempo loss.
Yeah, but if they kill it, you get the 5/5. If you kill it, you get the 5/5. It's a win-win nonetheless.
It's tempo loss, just as egg is a tempo loss.
I guess. All right, so we'll move on to the next card. Next card is the Faceless Shambler.
That's pretty cool. I like that one.
I like this one because of cards like because of other cards in the set that we've seen so far, like this Doomcaller guy here, the other, like the 10/10 or whatever. Basically, he can copy the stats of something without being them and be a taunt, which is pretty cool. Like, this is going to be Warlock's best friend here with, like, giants and stuff. So instead of having to, like, play an Argus, you play that, and it taunts with the giants, You know what I mean? Something like that. That would be kind of cool. I think, yeah, definitely Warlock's going to use this. In Arena, I don't know if it'll be too super useful. I think you would rather another Epic than this card. Honestly. I feel like this card is just not strong enough in the Arena-wise to be used. But yeah. Okay. So the next card. Cody's done fighting this Phantom here. Okay. Cyclopean Horror. Taunt, Battlecry, gain +1 health for each enemy minion.
It's good if there's one. It's not good if there isn't.
It's not even good if there's one. It's good if there's two.
It's good if there's one because it's automatically a 4/4 with taunt.
It's not it's not gaining +1 +1. It's gaining +1 health.
And then.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah,
it would. It would have to.
Unless they were pooping out
Yeah. It's another one of those, you know, oh, they played Stand Against the Darkness, you know.
Like this kid, Cyclopean Horror gets to become a beast.
Yeah.
But even then, Cyclopean Horror is
It just gains a bunch of health. It doesn't do any more damage.
and that means nothing to them if there's a reason why they're playing those.
Yep. Alright, so I don't think this one is going to see much use in either Constructed or Arena. First of all, because it's a epic, so Arena won't see it a lot. And Constructed is just too weak. It'd have to at least be 2 enemies on the enemy. There'd have to be 2 minions on the enemy's field for it to be like a Senjin, and then why wouldn't you just play a Senjin? So.
True.
Well, because Senjin doesn't have the possibility to have more
Get
health.
out of here.
Dark Speaker. Battle Cry. Swap stats with a friendly minion. Whoa. What do you think about that one, Cody?
Pretty decent.
Yeah. I think it's cool. It just depends on what you swap it with. It's basically giving stats to something that doesn't have stats. Basically giving stats to something that doesn't have stats.
Yeah, welcome.
So what needs stats that doesn't get stats usually that this could give it to?
No, I have to think about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm having to think about that one
That'd be a good
too.
combo card, and it works well as that.
In Arena, I don't know. I mean, this card could be okay. But I don't think it'll see much play in Arena because it's too combo-y. And we'd have to find... I can't think of it right now because I can't think of every single card in the entire game. First of all, because I don't have a thing to pull up to look at it. But that and you know...
It's really good. I like it.
I think it'll be good in a
I like it
combo
for what it
for
is.
Constructed that we can't think about it right now. You know, like when people sit down and they have the whole card list and they're looking at cards and what would be good to have more stats because of this thing, then we'll know. And we'll know whether it's good or bad. Crazed Worshipper. So we have Axe Flinger's little brother here.
Axe Slinger's little brother.
Well, he is a dwarf like the Axe Flinger, so. Cody's fighting right now, so we'll give him a moment. Okay. Crazed Worshipper.
Takes damage, give your... Wow. It'd be amazing in the type of decks where you can literally do something like that. Whirlwind.
Yeah, he seems pretty good in the
the
Cthulhu
tactical-
Control Warrior. Cthulhu Control Warrior, when, you know, you
Great.
play, yeah.
That's going to be a great card. As far as he is just straight out himself, I don't know. I mean, if you put a lot of effort into Cthulhu, or you put a lot of, you know, stock in Cthulhu, wow. Rapist?
He's coming after you.
He, not just coming after me, he is, like...
Anyway, if you put a lot of stock in Cthulhu, yes, you were
yeah,
saying.
then he could be a good card even for a non, because even any, I mean, as long as he at least takes 2 instances of damage,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I mean,
he's a
yeah, but I'm-
2/2 for like all the other ones are at least 2. If he takes 3 or more instances of damage, then he's so far beyond the other ones.
Yep.
I would say if you can get as much damage as you can off, I mean, I can't imagine what this Cthulhu is going to be like. I think it's probably going to be Cancer. If it's any good at all and it's not just shit, it's going to be Cancer. Like, you're just going to see everyone doing it, and it's just going to be...
It's going to be like the new Reno Jackson Cthulhu. Like, I immediately think of people that are going to do that. Just one of every type of cultist that's good. and then Cthulhu, and then Reno. So, oh, look, I got low. Reno. Oh, look, you're getting low. Cthulhu. Wipe your board, wipe your face.
Wipe your ass.
Yeah, wipe your ass, exactly. Goodbye.
That's kind of farming a little bit.
Anyway, alright. Next one. Validated Doomsayer. No, bad card. I'm not even going to talk about this card. Yeah, really, honestly, I'm not even going to talk about this card. I'll let it be on screen long enough to be seen. This card is garbage. There's nothing good about this card. Nothing redeeming about this card whatsoever. No. 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 Next. Scaled Nightmare. This is Gazrilla's little brother.
Too high a mana cost for that.
Yep.
It's a dragon though, so damn, it's too high a mana cost. No.
Dragon Consort Paladin might be okay.
I like it. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's
This would be like a 3-mana 2/8.
It's great if you can buff it or you don't care about it. Like if you can just pay the cost and you don't give a shit about it, or if it's played randomly for you, like it's just played for you.
Yeah.
You know.
Like Deathlord or something like
Given
that.
to you or given to you. Yeah, Deathlord.
I think this card is okay. It's a little too gimmicky. Like it would have to at least survive one turn to be a 4/8. And then and only then is it worth its cost. And then it has to survive past that as well. This is another Nightmare versus Priest. Another Nightmare versus Priest.
Scaled Nightmare.
Kappa.
Only thing that's nightmare about it, other than the scales, is the fact that Priest.
Cabal.
Yeah, there you go.
Cabal just let me change your mind. Oh shit! My dragon! Dragon! In Arena, I don't know. This could seem pretty good in Arena because of the fact that nice quick sneeze. Nice quick sneeze. Double rolls. Anyway, no, I know it's tempo based. I know it's tempo based. But you got to remember, some games are not all tempo. Sometimes it's value, because if they don't have the ability to remove this, bless you. If they don't have the ability to remove this, this thing's gonna turn fatty, real quick.
I feel it is not. I feel.
After 2 turns, this thing's an 8/8.
I feel that it just becomes a taunt at that point. Is this just me, or is this guy's neck like huge? Look at this guy's neck.
I don't know. I didn't say it was. Anyway, all right. Next card. Ancient Harbinger. At the start of your turn, put a 10-cost minion from your deck into your hand.
No. Yes, but no.
Um.
Unless you got other things to back that up, Cthulhu suddenly will just come to your hand.
Okay, and that's not a big deal. Cthulhu gains power wherever he's at, in your hand or in your deck.
Mean, playing an entire card around it, I guess that's really good for Cthulhu.
That's basically all this card's meant for. I mean, yeah, it could be for the other old god 10 mana.
What's his name?
Deathwing?
Deathwing.
The new Deathwing? Yeah, new Deathwing could be pretty good. Anyway,
This guy.
I think this, yeah, he's a Trollo. I think this card is going to be okay. I think it's basically not going to be very good. Like, if you need a draw mechanic for your 10 mana card, then you're having an issue altogether that you need to fix with your deck. I mean, I guess what this is it's like your whole deck is based around buffing Cthulhu. Here's your ability to get Cthulhu out of your deck. But the problem with this card is that if it doesn't survive, that plan is destroyed anyway. Meaning you might as well just put draw on your deck, skip getting this card, just put draw on your deck, and then have you draw it out, right? Go grab your souls.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, don't want to fall off on my souls yet.
Well, and even if you did, your souls would be down there and unretrievable, right?
No, they'd come up.
Ah. Alright, well, in Arena, this card will not be seen because it's a Well, no, I guess it's not a Cthulhu card. So, I don't know. It probably won't be seen anyway because it won't be seen because of its effect. It will just be seen just because it's a 6-mana 4/6. That'd be like, okay, that's an okay body. I'll take that. Depending on if their other options were terrible. I guess their other options would have to be pretty bad too, especially since it's an epic. So, I don't know. Blood of the Ancient One. This one is an interesting one, for sure.
If you control, yeah, good. It's a combo, but I like it.
And here's the Ancient One.
Especially if you got that.
If you get this,
that to 30, give that to Cthulhu or whatever.
Oh yeah, the hand of the whatever, Hand of Cthulhu, the one rogue card. Destroy it and give its damage to Cthulhu. Yeah.
You have to put 2 of those things on, and you said those were 9 mana?
Yeah, 9 mana each.
How the hell would you ever do that before?
You'd have to play one turn and one the next.
Yeah, but you said it was like on turn 9 and then on turn 10. There'd be no way.
Yeah.
No way you can play a perfect curve on turn 9 on turn 10.
Or if you had Thaurissan, you could play one on turn 8 and one on turn 9.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to turn 10 Cthulhu or whatever. Like you were talking about. You were talking about like a perfect curve. That one.
And then your turn 9 as the rogue would be hand, and then turn 10 would be Cthulhu.
Oh, if you're saying.
I'm saying against them, yes.
I thought you were trying to say you.
Oh no! If you're playing the Ancient One, you're not gonna kill the Ancient One to give it to Cthulhu. You're just gonna kill them with the Ancient One.
No, you're going to take. Oh, I guess I see what you're saying, but that's if they have no taunt.
Or don't remove him. Yeah. Ancient One just it feels like it won't be used because of the fact that it's too hard to summon. You have to have 2 of these things, and then only if you have a way to like duplicate them is there a way to go past just the 2 of them. And if there's only 2 of them, because you can only put 2 in your deck, and you have to merge 2 of them into the Ancient One, it just seems too hard.
Summon that? Oh, it's because
it's non-collectible. Yeah.
There's no other way to summon that. Huh?
Nope. The only way to summon it is to combine 2 Blood of the Ancient Ones.
Wait,
just
like
Mega Voltron. Just like Mega Voltron, you can't, or Voltron. It's just like Voltron. You can't summon Voltron unless you use Mimiron's head. There is no other way to.
So then my question is, can you copy it with like a Echo or a 1/1? Put a 1/1 copy.
Oh yeah, of course.
Spell, and that way you can make multiple Ancient Ones. Echo of Medivh.
You'd have to have two ancient one. You'd have to have 2 Blood of the Ancient Ones to summon it. It's not like if you have an Ancient One and you put a Blood of the Ancient One on the field, it just makes another one.
What you're trying to say to me is, it consumes both, not one.
Yeah, it consumes both to make it.
Yeah. Sort of like one of those raid fights.
Yep. Okay, next one is our good little friend here, Shifter Xeris. Me and Cody looked at Shifter Xeris, I think it was yesterday.
Good, great card.
I love this card.
Best
This card's amazing.
Like, craft it
I think,
as soon as you can.
yeah, I think everyone is. I think yes, I think this expansion's Dr. Boom. This is gonna be in everyone's deck.
I don't know if it's Dr. Boom's immediate value. It's just gonna be like, damn, is it the one I want? Is it?
I think it's a random minion.
I
think it's a random minion, and with that, it could be any minion. So you could get like, I don't know, Tyrion or something off of it when you're not playing Paladin. So truly this will be the game changer legendary in that if he shifts into something that your class doesn't normally have, and you could play it, it might be, you might be able to get that crazy. You might be able to get that combo that you're not normally supposed to be able to because your class doesn't have that card because of this card, which will be kind of interesting. I think this card's good even in freaking whatchamacallit in Arena. I think people should pick this card in Arena even. I mean, it depends on their other legendary options. If they're more solid, like you get a Karen or something, I would pick that. But if your other legendary options are kind of iffy, I would maybe say take this card. The only sad part is if you're like fighting Camel Hunter and then they pull this out of your deck and you're like, no.
You're like, no. Oh my gosh.
That was perfect timing.
Timed.
That was perfect timing.
And you're like, no. Oh my gosh. So perfect.
All right.
Next
one is Nat the Dark Fisher. At the start of your opponent's turn, they have a 50% chance to draw an extra card.
What?
So it's a 2-mana 2/4, 50% chance for your opponent to draw an extra card.
What? Okay.
I don't see the necessity. I don't see the necessity of this card.
No.
It was like that, you know, like you were saying with the Polluted Hoarder. It was like, we want to do corruption cards, so we're gonna ha back to their original use, but make them different. So this is like a reference clearly back to Nat Pagel as the 2-mana 0/4.
Pagelage.
So Blizzard thought that giving Pagel 2 damage was worth giving your opponent the chance to draw a card. Why? Why, Blizzard? Why was 2 damage?
Because they made so many good cards, they just started smoking it on the last couple cards.
I just see this card right here, and I think I see this card and I think
like
nerf to you know, Paletris, nerf to well, Shredder's only in Wild anyway.
Shredder Wild.
Nerf to Shredder Wild. Nerf to Sneeds Wild.
Nerf to I was thinking.
Nerf to Recombob. You know, nerf to anything that would summon something like this.
Nerf to any mode that possibly could give you like a brawl or something.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just don't understand the necessity of this kind of card. It doesn't do anything. The ability to have a 2-mana 2/4 is not worth the chance of your opponent being able to draw an extra card each turn. Never. It's like Millhouse Mana Storm.
Stop. I guess it's good in that if you want your card, if this is a mill card.
Oh, mill decks?
This is a good mill card because it gives you a great body, and it gives your opponent more chances to get cards.
Yeah.
That they may not want.
Yeah.
If
okay.
you're like later game, it's still good because it's still a good body for a crap cost. You're giving them more cards that they may not want at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then there's no other.
It's just a bad card. No. Never. You're never gonna want to pick this card in Arena. Ever. You will never want to even give the possibility of giving your opponent a card lead in Arena. Ever. So, no. Just never. Mukla, Tyrant of the Veil. 6 mana, 5/5. Battlecry, add 2 bananas to your hand. So instead, you're paying 3 more mana to give the 2 bananas. You instead of giving them to your opponent, you give them to yourself. So what do you think, Cody? You're paying 3 mana to give yourself 2 bananas instead of the enemy. I don't know. I think it's okay.
I think it's like I said.
Yeah, I think it's okay card. It's okay because it's a beast. That could be pretty cool. Beast synergies. You get some bananas. Get some bananas and buff cards, you know, for other stuff. Cheap spells for like tempo kind of style deck, you know, like Tempo Mage style kind of thing. So I don't know. I think it's okay. Arena, I don't know. Again, it's okay. Not amazing, but not terrible. Might be a pretty decent arena card. But as always, the tempo loss might not be enough. I don't know. Anyway, next card. Twin Emperor Veclor. If your opponent taunt Battlecry, if your Cthulhu has at least 10 attack, summon another Emperor.
Wow, pretty good.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty good.
So you get 2 4/6 with taunts for 7 mana.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
I don't know. I think it'd be pretty cool. Obviously, this is not available in Arena, so it's only constructed. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds like a pretty cool idea if your Cthulhu's getting up to 10 attack, which I'm pretty sure at this point, with what I've seen from the Cthulhu cards, you should be getting up to 10 attack on your Cthulhu pretty dang easily. Definitely before 7 mana. And this is the other Veclor and Vecnalash. Ah, Vecnalash. He's the one with the huge sword. That, remember? Ash Candy. I think so. No. No. Ashkandi at the very least. Oh no, that is from Ank'Raj, you're right. That's the one Kalimdor blade. Yeah, that's the translucent blade with the thing in the middle. Yeah, no, you're right, that is Ank'Raj. Veclor and Vecnalash. Alright, next one is Hogger, Doom of Elwyn. Cody, your thoughts?
Decent for a combo, maybe not like the best by itself.
Another one of those, another one of those kind of cool with the Cthulhu warrior control. You know, with the deal damage to your minions kind of stuff. Because, you know, whenever this minion takes damage, summon a 2/2 null with taunt. So, play it and then, like, pew it with the, you know, the ooze thing. The blood for ooze or whatever.
Yep.
I don't know. I think it's pretty cool.
It's one of those new ones. Like
Arena, it might be okay. I don't know if it would be terrible, but it you know, it'd be pretty cool for Arena. This is what the Null from Tainted Hogger looks like. He's got a bunch of tentacles and shit coming out. The Boogie Monster. Terrible.
Oh, wow! Okay, terrible.
Terrible. This card sucks. This card's garbage. I don't like this card. Is that apparent? Did I make that apparent enough? This card's garbage. I don't like this garbage. Garbage. Garbage, 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 garbage,
It doesn't look like bad. It's like
8 mana, 6/7. Terrible bodied value. Only when this minion attacks and kills a minion does it gain +2/+2. It has to kill it itself. Meaning you can't use like removal. It's not like every time a minion dies, this minion, you know, every time something dies, this minion gains +2/+2.
It could though be healed by, you know, a priest spell. It could be, you know,
Buffed. It could be. Why don't you just play any other spell? Or, I mean, any other creature.
because any other creature doesn't keep buffing itself.
Cool.
Into the
BGH.
stratosphere.
Goodbye.
Cool. Another target.
Cool.
that
Removal.
BGH.
Cool. Removal.
Cool.
8 mana. You got to get to 8 mana.
More removal.
You want to waste removal on stuff that's lower.
This is one of those cards. It's like Concede level. You don't want to see it beat you, and when it does, you're going to be pissed because
Okay.
of how bad you think it is. Am I
Okay.
wrong?
Fair enough.
And I'm just giving people enough, you know, credit to say there will be someone out there who will make this thing. Into
It's
an
like Gruul.
asshole.
It's like Gruul.
Yeah,
You see Gruul. You see Gruul, and you go, Gruul sucks testicles, and then you lose against Gruul, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, it's true.
This card is Gruul. This card is literally Gruul. You're like, Gruul sucks. I lost against Gruul. Fuck. That's the Boogie Monster. It's like that card you don't want to lose against, and then when you do, you're like, fuck. I hate myself. Why did I lose that game? You just have those games every once in a while. Alright. Next card. Sogoth the Slitherer. 9 mana, 5/9. Taunt. Cannot be targeted by spells or hero powers.
Pretty good. Not great.
It's like a arcane
I'd say
nullifier
because-
on crack.
I'd say because of the cost and the
Yeah.
fact that
Feels
you
like an
can't
8
buff
mana.
it,
Feels like an 8
the
mana.
fact that you can't buff it. I mean, what?
It can be passively buffed by like Brood of N'Zoth and shit like that, but it can't be.
Passively buffed by like your AoE stuff or battle cry stuff, right? Because battle cry stuff can target it.
Yeah, exactly.
But, it's okay.
Yeah, I'd say it's okay. I agree.
It's like I said before. A lot of this stuff is
Could be an okay arena card because it's
like
hard
I
to
said before,
remove.
a lot of this stuff is for either people who didn't play much and lost. Like
This is a
old
legendary
people,
though. I mean, when you get into legendaries,
standard people wanting to play standard who played only during GVG, Nax, and all that kind of stuff, and come back and like, why can't I play all of my cards now? They're
Yeah.
gonna need something. They're not gonna be happy. I mean, let's already get it down and out. They're not gonna be happy about that. This is gonna make them more happy that they've got to buy new things. But if they get them for free, or if newer players, like they just started, get these things for free, they're not gonna be so overly powerful that every other person who's been playing forever is gonna be like, what the fuck is this shit?
yeah,
I have to buy a bunch of these packs or get them or craft them or whatever to beat these people who just started the game. But people who just start the game are not going to be like, what's this shit I'm playing against? This is all I got and this is what you got? No, this is going to be okay.
yeah. Fair enough.
I'll leave it at that.
Fair enough. Okay, then we have Deathwing Dragonlord.
Shit. I believe I've already said my piece on that. I believe.
Okay.
It's amazing.
I like this card a lot. I think it'll be good in like a dragon deck.
Dragons that don't need anything are going to be good by this. Dragons that need things are not going to. Like,
This will be great for like.
Deathwing will be good played with Deathwing.
Yes, Deathwing with Deathwing will be good. Malagos. Malagos.
Deathwing, right?
No, you have him again.
Oh, okay. So then I could play Golden Deathwing for the Swag Lordness.
Yep. Malagos is a really good one with it. Ysera.
None of the other Battle Cry.
Nosdormu.
Yeah, none of the other Battle Cry-ish type things. Nosdormu. It's just sort of gonna. The problem is because it's a death rattle, it's not.
He's got to die, and
No, that's no. You're missing the point. Is that it's gonna
Silence.
Suck.
he's gonna silence.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Silence is great for that cost. Problem is, A, it's going to be late game only, which means that unless you play this exactly turn 10 or whatever, your deck is centered around dragons. You're going to play this.
Means your hand had to have been clogged with large dragons to begin with, which means how did you get to turn 10 anyway? Yeah, I know.
My point being that if it plays dragons that have great battle cries, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because it's not choose the dragons that you put out from your hand.
Just put all.
When it dies, it just spills dragons out on the field.
Yeah.
And then if certain dragons need things like the one that you can put out on the field for a 6/6 taunt body, but then it explodes.
Yeah, the Choma.
If you don't have anything like that, you can't have anything like that. Now,
Yeah,
of course,
but then it
there's
becomes
that-
a free 6/6 taunt. That's a dragon. Alright, so we come to our first old god of the four, which is our good buddy Cthulhu, who we've been talking about the whole time. Now you finally see what we've been talking about. He is 10 mana, 6/6, deal damage equal to this minion's attack, randomly split among all enemies. Cody's thoughts on Cthulhu are...
He's good. Problem is, I wish he would have more damage.
To start?
More damage to start, yeah. Because, like I said, I feel like he's either going to be a gimmick where he's an asshole, and we're just like, fuck.
Yeah, like
Or
it's
he's
gonna be
not
the
even
combo.
great.
Like it's gonna be
great.
like it's gonna be combo druid.
Yeah.
Like don't get below a certain amount of health, or else the dude's gonna play Cthulhu and you're gonna insta die. Because his Cthulhu's gonna have enough damage that he's just gonna kill you outright. You know, that kind of shit. But loses against roll. Fuck, now I hate myself. Sounds like my life. Oh man, yeah. No, it's just when you lose games against bad cards, you just want to sit and cry in a corner, and hope that that
No one saw that.
no one saw you lose to the bad cards. And then you sit and realize that you saw yourself lose to the bad cards. That's right, you saw yourself, and you're like sad and disappointed in yourself that you lost that. Yeah. But Cthulhu, yep. Here's the guy that we've been talking about this whole time, the big eyeball guy himself, Cthulhu. Alright, next old god we have is N'Zoth the Corruptor. This guy is going to be pretty cool in, whatchamacallit, in the Death Rattle Rogue. This guy is going to be really cool. So anything that died, any of your Death Rattle minions that died this game, come back when you play this guy right here. So, having a good Death Rattle minion die before you play N'Zoth is probably pretty likely. So, just making sure you have multiple die is what you want. Like, just make sure you have, like, at least 2. I think if you have at least 2 Death Rattle minions that died this game, N'Zoth will be worth almost every time. Yeah, his body isn't super great for his value, or I mean, for his mana cost, but his mana cost is because of the fact that he's summoning other Death Rattle minions that died that game. But I also feel like N'Zoth is bad in that he's a win more card. It's like, if you already had really great Death Rattle effects from your other Death Rattle minions, resummoning them to make you win more is just going to make you win more. Or, if those Death Rattle effects didn't help you to begin with, why is resummoning them going to help you? Right? Unless the body of the Death Rattle creature was good. But yeah. Cody, your thoughts on N'Zoth? What do you think about him?
I have mixed feelings on N'Zoth. I have mixed feelings on the card. I think we'll have to see it. I think what we will have to wait for too is we'll have to wait for people to make combos and stuff.
The only issue I'm seeing with N'Zoth is there's not a lot of room. Like, who's going to be wanting to run a lot of different types of Death Rattle decks? Like, this legendary seems like it's a rogue-only legendary, but it's not, very clearly. Like, it seems like it wants to be a rogue-only legendary because the rogue is got a lot of strong Death Rattles this patch. But it's not. That's the funny part. It's a neutral. So, I don't know. I just don't see it going into a lot more decks than just rogue. That's my only issue with the card. Otherwise, I think the card's very cool. In Arena, I don't know. I don't know about this card in Arena. Probably not. I'd say most of the old gods are going to be pretty terrible in Arena. Cthulhu won't appear in the Arena, and the other 3, I don't know. They're all 10 mana, so it's pretty hard to play 10 mana stuff, especially in Arena. And especially since they're all very, like, value-based off of other stuff. Like our next old god friend here, Yogg-Saron. Cody's thoughts on Yogg-Saron.
Cast a random spell for each spell that you've cast this game. No.
I think this...
It's got a crappy body. It's randomly... I mean, if you don't cast anything, it doesn't do anything. If you cast a bunch of spells, it could possibly just ruin your game. Like, it basically is like... It's like, if you want to see what Hearthstone looks like if it gets a terrible virus...
like Cody said, if you wanted to see a virus crawl into Hearthstone and eat the game's butthole from the inside out, play Yogg-Saron after you played... Okay, you didn't say the second part, but I did. Play Yogg-Saron after you've played Tempo Mage. And then watch you triple Pyroblast your own face.
Yeah, like, it would be like, imagine all the different... You could just, like, Arcane Explosion. You could, you could draw 2 more cards. You could Pyroblast it. You could activate Arcane Explosion. You could, put a couple secrets in, on. You could, I don't know, terrible things.
There's so many different spells in the entire game that could be cast.
Random targets chosen randomly.
It could wreck you.
Shooting yourself,
it could shoot several fireballs at your own face, at your own minions, at your own board. I think if it's like there's no targets chosen, then there is no, like, Flame Strike will always hit the enemy. Like, it's not like it Flame Strikes your own board kind of shit. Like, only if there's targets to actually be chosen when you cast the spell normally. Like, if you drag the card out of your hand and drop it on the board, does it have you target, or does it just activate? If it just activates, then it does that as it normally does. But if it has you target, then it does that randomly. But yeah, I think because of the random nature and the randomness, first of all, you have to cast a lot of spells for this guy to even really do anything. And then second of all, you have to, like, those spells have to be good. Not the spells you cast, but the spells that he casts have to be good. Because if you end up, like, pyroblasting your own face even once, or fireballing or anything, it's just... Or flame lancing your own Yogg-Saron as he's played. That shit's just got to be obnoxious. Like, why can this guy kill himself when he's played? That seems so random.
No, the worst part about it is it doesn't seem random. It seems completely planned and terrible.
But that's what I mean. Like, what? It's hyper RNG again, and we don't need that.
We already got away from that.
We already got away from the hyper RNG with GVG. We don't need it to come back in any form, which is why I think Yogg-Saron will not be run in any of, if all, decks. Like, the most that might run it is like a Tempo Mage, and then, yeah, that Tempo Mage will play it on turn 10, and sure, it might win him the game, it might lose him the game, and that's just how it is. Yeah, and he just, that's his way of enjoying Hearthstone.
I think it's just a crap way of making a 10-10 that sucks.
You mean a 10 mana?
That's what, well, I meant to say that. That's what I'm trying to say. And that if you have some kind of thing that lets you get a 10 mana...
Yeah, like Recombobs or something like that, you could just get Yogg-Saron and it's a 7/5 instead of like a 10.
I think with a lot of these really, really good characters, there needs to be a lot more pandas. Like the you know, the whatchamacallit panda, the bounce panda needs to come back.
Yep. Then we have our final card of the set and the final old god, Mr. Yursaj, Rage Unbound. Cody, your thoughts on Mr. Yursaj, Rage Unbound?
I just like how they never fixed the rogue VC. It just sucks dick.
They double back, yeah.
Like when it does it, it just feels so weird.
At the end of your turn, put a minion from your deck into the battlefield. So at the very least, you play this on turn 10, it's a 10-10, and it summons another card.
It's a good one.
I feel like it has the propensity to, bless you, to Deathlord your cards though.
Don't put a lot of
Don't put a lot of battle cries, put a lot of death rattles.
You know what this will sound like? You know what this reminds me of?
What?
If you play this and then play the monkey.
Yeah.
Just starts throwing.
Or even if you play this and then the monkey turns one of your legendaries into that, and then you play that, and then it just starts throwing legendaries. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I gotta keep in mind the golden monkey on some of these legendaries. Like some of these legendaries will come out.
And the poo-poo part is that you get those now.
Yeah.
So you're getting this, and they suck. And
some of them suck. Yeah. Some of them really do suck. Like Boogie Monster. I do not want a Boogie Monster in my fucking gold monkey. Get that the fuck out of here, please.
It's now there. Welcome.
I just realized all of the legendaries like Cthulhu and Cthulhu, this guy right here, can come out of that now, which means, oh, okay, well my Cthulhu's never going to be more than 10 attack, so this won't ever work. And Cthulhu is going to come out and be 6 damage, woo. And then, you know, I'm going to get Nat Pagel, or Nat the Dark Fisher. Shifter Xeris will be cool, because he'll shift into something else, but, you know, I'll get Nat Pagel. Anyway, alright. Alright guys, that was all the cards of the entire set of Wrath of the Old Gods. So,
thanks everyone for sticking around. Thanks everyone.
I appreciate everyone coming out to watch the video, for sticking around. Out of 10, Aston asks, what do I rate this overall? I'd say, Cody, what do you rate the Whispers of the Old Gods as out of 10?
I wouldn't give it a 10 because they're still shit, but I give it a 9 because they've done all kind of things. Like, I'm like, this is what we... Like, why did you guys not talk about this? Like, it feels like they played their game. It feels like they played their game. They played their game and they're like, well, no one wants to play a 4-mana 2/2 that does dick. Want to play a 4-mana 3/3 or 4-mana 4/4 that has something on it. It has card text. Card text.
Yep.
Card text on so many different things. The only thing that don't have card text, I feel, is a lot of the neutral minions, which are, they're just neutral minions. And the reason why they're not, you put them, you play them for what they are, for what they do, because you're going to get a lot of neutral minions, and people who are new to the game need something like that. And there you go. But otherwise, I'd say 9 out of 10.
Yep. I have to agree with let's go the full screen on this. So I have to agree with Cody on this one. This one is going to be this review is going to be a 9 out of 10 review. I think Whispers is going to be great. Why is my camera slightly?
Remember, you had to do that thing and it slipped off or whatever.
There we go. Anyway,
It looks smudgy as hell. You gotta.
it's not. It's just it's lagging right now. I don't know why. Anyway, I think Whispers is gonna be great when it comes out. I can't wait. It's only 4 days, so you know, woo. But yeah, I can't wait when it comes out. There's a lot of cool combos and things that I definitely want to try out. I'm not even 100% sure what I'm gonna do at this point. If I'm gonna do only standard or I'm gonna do wild and standard. I'll probably do both.
Because we have 18 slots,
I'll have
wild.
9 wild, 9 standard. So that's probably the way I'll do it.
That's really sad because now that basically forced people who have.
That forces us back into our 9 deck slots again, which sucks. But well, you could always just not have your wild decks, you know. Ho ho.
If you have some ones that you know work in standard and that's all you have, like you have just a couple in standard that work or whatever, you could just go that way.
I don't know. I think yep.
Thank you for jumping off.
Yep.
I so appreciate you jumping off.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think spending the first day looking at all the cards again, even though I've seen all of them. Just looking at all the cards.
I'm gonna open up some packs and I'm gonna get shit done.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what I mean. Like opening the packs, looking at what I got, melting down what I don't want,
I don't think
and
there's
just.
gonna be much you're gonna melt down, to be honest.
What do you mean? I mean, like,
really think
there's gonna be a lot of. Well, I mean, just disenchanting all the extras and then building what I want. I don't know. I might do some of the nerf cards. I might actually disenchant some of the nerf cards, especially if they're not going to be used.
Nerfs into...
Oh, right. I totally didn't even realize. We should go do the nerf cards right now. So hold on. Let me actually.
You want to separate this out as a video or?
No. We'll just do it part as the neutral. About 3 hours each. That's fine. Hold on. Let's see.
Remember to save those videos for posterity.
Of course.
It's not as of course. It is a thing you gotta remember.
Okay.
Well, Monkey's like, oh, the dancer, and then never. I mean, you're probably better about it, and I'd be better to like let you be better, but.
Welcome to Among.
Whoop. No, that's not what I want. I guess we're gonna have to do this one by one, but that's fine. Okay, so since it doesn't matter, there we go. Okay, so first change we're looking at is the Knife Juggler change. Goes from a 2-mana 3/2 after you summon a minion, deal 1 damage to a random enemy, to now a 2-mana 2/2. Same effect. What the flip is that? That's definitely not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Okay. Leper Gnome. A 1 mana 2/1. Death Rattle, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. Is still a 1 mana 1/1 now. Death Rattle, deal 2 damage to enemy hero. Oh yeah, right. Let's get Cody's thoughts on these. So, Cody, about the Knife Juggler change.
I don't like all. There's no reason to add me in.
Okay. Cody doesn't like any of the changes.
I don't like much of them. This one's okay. Do you remember the ones that I was like, okay? Like, that one's okay. The previous one, because of how much damage it already does. This one's okay. Honestly, I didn't feel like they were balance changes. I felt like where they're like, what's too prominent in the meta and doesn't feel right for what it is. Like, this doesn't feel right for what it is. Knife Juggler's too prominent in aggro decks because of how aggro it is all automatically, plus the knives it's throwing. So it's like they were just balancing by just nerfing. And yet, that didn't feel like... That didn't make Classic any more strong.
It wasn't meant to. It was meant to fix...
It for no reason.
It was the point. That was the point. Because Basic will be in Standard forever, they have to balance it so it feels...
Everything for no reason.
I agree, but I disagree. There's certain ones that needed it. Certain ones that didn't deserve it. Or certain ones that should have been changed better. But anyway, okay, so we have the Knife Juggler, we have the Leper Gnome, we have the Arcane Golem, which I'm not too surprised that they changed this card, as this card has been a huge thorn in the side of development as being a very cancerous charge card. And I don't mean like one that you go spend money. I'm talking about like a card that has charge, meaning when you play it, it can attack immediately. So we go from a 3 mana 4/2 charge, battle cry, give your opponent a mana crystal, to a 3 mana 4/4 battle cry, give your opponent a mana crystal. So basically they added 2 health and removed the charge. So you now just play it and it's 4/4 health. I mean, it's 4/4 for 3 mana, and the battle cry is give your opponent a mana crystal. So basically this card's useless now. First of all, because it's not a mech, even though it should be, because Arcane Golems of WoW were mechs, they were mechanical. Yeah, they were partially magic, they were held together by magic, that's why it's an Arcane Golem, but it's still a mech of some sorts. Anyway, so it doesn't have the mech tag, which they didn't fix. And basically there's no point in playing it, because why do you need a 4/4 for 3 mana? Why would you give your opponent an advantage just to have a 4/4 at turn 3? When you can play any other card on turn 3 that doesn't give your opponent an advantage with slightly less stats. Woo, right? Bad change. So I'm going to close these as I go. Okay, sweet. So, Molten Giant change. Used to be a 20 mana 8/8, costs 1 less for each damage your hero has taken, to a 25 mana 8/8, costs 1 less for each damage your hero has taken.
So instead of 15, you have to be 10 now?
No. Instead of being 10 health, you now have to be 5 health.
Useless.
The change was made as a, hey, we realize it's too easy to just tap yourself into oblivion and play a bunch of Molten Giants and basically OTK, yeah, and basically OTK without OTKing as handlock. Because basically as handlock, you would tap yourself down, your opponent would get you low, you would play 2 Molten Giants in a taunt and maybe even another minion on the same turn, and they wouldn't be able to remove all of those minions all at the same time, and they would just auto lose against handlock. Which I agree was completely necessary. Also now with the fact that combo is going away, so you don't have to fear that being at 14 health anymore. You know, you can play around with getting lower a little more and not be so worried about, oh shit, I'm low, I'm gonna die to combo, which we'll see in a few moments. Okay, Master of Disguise change. Goes from 4 mana 4/4 battle cry, give a friendly minion stealth permanently, to 4 mana 4/4 battle cry, give a friendly minion stealth until your next turn. So basically this change was made so you couldn't just infinite stealth something that was hard to kill that had a good effect. Especially with some of the new old god stuff kind of coming that has stuff like that. Where it'd be like, that effect would be crazy if that thing would just be stealth permanently. And there you go. So, Blade Flurry change. This is probably the hardest, worst change I think that we've seen out of all of these. That this will ruin Rogue partially because of this card change. I believe because of the removal of oil that already Rogue's Blade Flurry was going to be losing some power as it is, but to not only remove remove Tinker's Sharp Sword Oil and then to nerf this card as hard as they did, it just basically just busts the class really hard. So Blade Flurry used to be 2 mana, Blade Flurry, 2 mana, destroy your weapon and deal its damage to all enemies. So you would basically, if you had a weapon equipped, you would destroy it, and then however much attack damage it had on it, it would deal it to all of your enemies, meaning it would deal it to their minions and them. So the reason why it was so strong was you would oil up your weapon with Tinker's Sharp Sword Oil, which would give your weapon a lot of damage. You would swing with your minion that it landed on, swing with your weapon, and then you would Blade Flurry, and so you would basically do an effect which is like similar to Wind Fury, where you basically double attacked with with your weapon. But with oil going away, the maximum amount of damage you're really going to be able to do in a turn as a rogue is like 3. So woo, you're doing 3 damage to their face. Is that really that game breaking? And then now to make it 4 mana is really hard. So, new Blade Flurry is 4 mana, destroy your weapon, and deal its damage to all enemy minions. Meaning only their minions, it only hits the minions, doesn't hit their face now. Which kind of helped push damage a little more easily as Rogue. So you didn't have to feel so pressured to always, to be able to clear their board and be able to hit their face. It was like you could do both and do it kind of efficiently without having to spend too much options on that. But now it's just like you have to, if you're going to run Blade Flurry, which I'm assuming most rogue decks won't, they'll just go without clearing the board like they used to. And they'll just play around something else. They'll play around with other stuff like Fan of Knives, so we'll make a huge comeback and stuff. So, huge nerf for no reason. This got nerfed because of one specific card that Cody pointed out, and I realized as well when I saw it. So the original card was 7 mana, 5/5, Ancient of Lore. Choose 1, draw 2 cards, or restore 5 health. It is now 7 mana, 5/5, choose 1, draw a card, or restore 5 health. This change was partially because of Fandral Staghelm, but also because drawing 2 cards and getting a 5/5 body for 7 mana was pretty ridiculous for the Ancient of Lore. Especially since you could have 2. So in essence, you could have 2 Arcane Intellects plus a 5/5 body for Druid, which was pretty crazy, especially when trying to draw for the combo. So, this is the combo nerf. So, originally, we have Force of Nature here. It's 6 mana. Force of Nature, summon 3 2/2 treants with charge that die at the end of the turn. So what you would do is you'd summon this at 6 mana, or for 6 mana you would summon this, and then for 3 more mana you'd play another Druid card called Savage Roar, which gives all of your characters +2/+2, which means your treants and you as Malfurion would get +2 attack. So altogether for 9 mana you could deal 14 damage in 1 turn to your opponent, as long as they didn't have any taunts and they were low enough, they were at 14 health. And that was really kind of fun because anytime you had any creature, that was if you had an empty board. If you have any kind of creature on the board, you just add that creature's damage +2 from the Savage Roar to that damage. So if you have even 1 extra creature on the board and it's at 1 damage, your damage threshold goes from 14 to 17. So they haven't even lost they haven't even lost half of their health, and they could die from one card, a 2-card combo that you can run 2 copies of in your deck. You could run 2 copies of Force of Nature and 2 copies of Savage Roar. So you had twice the chance to draw both those cards. Now the card reads 5 mana, summon 3 2/2 treatments that don't die at the end of the turn, they don't have charge. I think this card's cool now, like it's kind of interesting, but it's not like... Well, obviously it destroys combo, because there's no charge to kill you with. You know, basically that was what they would do, is they'd use it to charge into you. Now the new combo basically is you play this, and then obviously if they don't clear that, then you can like Savage Roar with a fatty board and kill them that way. But that's really never going to happen, honestly. And if it does, you know, then I guess you deserve to die to the combo then. It's basically, it gives you a turn to react to it instead of just dying instantaneously in one turn. I think the new Force of Nature is okay, but I don't know. It definitely could have been better, I'll agree. This change is wholly unnecessary. This is the Keeper of Grove change. 4 mana, 2/4, choose 1, deal 2 damage, or silence a minion. Now 4 mana, 2/2, choose 1, deal 2 damage, or silence a minion. So basically they reduced Keeper of the Grove's health by 2. So basically you're investing a crap load of mana into silencing or dealing 2 damage, which really funnily was pointed out in a parody video of the release of the Nerf notes recently. I'm not going to go into details about the video because it's kind of racist, but basically, racist. Anyway, basically, it makes a joke about the fact that why would you run a Keeper of the Grove for silence if you could just run Spellbreaker, which is the same 4 mana, 4/3 body, but for silencing something. And the only reason you'd really want to run a Keeper of the Grove now is if you really needed the utility of dealing 2 damage or silencing a minion, or if you had Fandral in your deck. That's the only reason. Otherwise, there's no point. You might as well just run a Spellbreaker. Ironbeak Owl change. I think it's a pretty decent change. It's basically saying you're paying 2 mana for your silence effect, whereas before you're paying 2 mana for your silence effect, but you were getting a 2/1 body along with it, and it's a beast. So for beast synergies, that's pretty good. So now it's basically saying you're having to pay your 1 mana for your 2/1, which is decent, especially since you're getting a silence out of it. I don't know. I personally think the change is okay. That's Ironbeak Owl again. Did I miss one then? Nope. Okay. Big Game Hunter change. This is the biggest change that we were looking forward to as a whole, as a Hearthstone community, and we were horribly let down by Blizzard. Blizzard just spat in our face. Just was like, Big Game Hunter? Yeah, that card's working as intended.
Fun Game Hunter? Yeah, no, it's okay.
This game has this card. That's the word I'm looking for. This card has been the fun ruiner of Hearthstone for the last forever. This card has ruined fun since the beginning of Hearthstone. This is a basic card. The card's effect is 3 mana. It used to be 3 mana, 4/2.
Classic, not basic.
Classic. Sorry, classic. I apologize. 3 mana, 4/2. Battle Cry. Destroy a minion with an attack of 7 or more. And that was insane. 3 mana, 4/2 is pretty decent. It matches its body for value ratio. But then it destroys a 7 or more attack creature, which is insane. It's basically an assassinate for anything above 7 attack, or more importantly, or more specifically, thank you, Shadow Word Death from Priest, which was the anything over 5 attack kill. Basically, you're gaining. If we're going into layman's terms, and you're gonna say, or we're gonna go into technical terms, let's just say that Shadow Word Death is not a priest-specific card. even though there is no unclass specific spells.
As I said before, anything that is a non-class specific spell, like a neutral spell, is a creature.
Exactly, like Cody said, any quote-unquote neutral spell is basically a creature with an effect that like a spell, and that's what this card is. This card is basically take Shadow Word Death and put it on a creature, but you're not paying any extra for that creature. So a Shadow Word Death is 3 mana. So when you play the big game hunter, when you used to play a big game hunter, you were paying 0 mana for a 4/2 body, and you were deathing something. Basically, you were Shadow Word Deathing. So we were hoping either the battle cry would change in its entirety, or they would nerf the stats massively, or they would really, really hurt the mana cost, like 7 mana or something like that. 7 mana, or you know, something along the lines of punishing when you play this big game hunter, because the fact is the point of the reason why this character is so this card is so damaging is because of the fact that when you usually play something that's a 7 attack or more, usually you're investing your whole turn in doing that. So when they are playing a card to remove that, they should be nearly investing their whole turn in doing that, or so they should be more punished. Now, 3 mana wasn't punishing at all. You could play 3 mana and play a bunch of other shit afterwards. 5 mana is still kind of basically going to be the same issue. Yeah, sure, they won't be able to play a bunch of things afterwards, but basically, if you had 2 7 or attack more creatures and you had 2 BGHs in your hand, you could play both on turn 10. So, basically, issue not resolved. Basically, we're still going to see Big Game Hunter a lot in Whispers. To the point where basically every deck's going to run 2. Especially with the large creatures coming out with
Shouldn't we just keep crafting big game hunters until like the thing comes out? That way we can disenchant them for double and then enchant.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, you could. Well, no, wait, if you enchant them, then that's the same cost you're gonna get.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you enchant them, you get the same cost back. That's the whole point. It's if you got them, like if we open up packs and got them. Okay, and the last change, the most really insignificant of changes, it really didn't really do anything. I mean, there's no point to doing the change, but then again, there was, like, plenty of point to do the change. Like, basically, it requires the hunter to actually have a mana to do this. So, previously, Hunter's Mark, 0 mana, change your minion's health to 1. And so that would really help with, like, pushing through large minion taunts and stuff like that as Hunter, which is kind of the issue if you're, you know, trying to you're trying to kill your opponent, which is generally Hunter's goal. I mean, that's everyone's goal, obviously, but the Hunter does that as like a specialty, is going directly for the hero. So when you're trying to go directly for the hero and the hero plays taunt, you know, me still go face cap. No, when they play taunt, it's you got to get through the taunt before you hit the face. So Hunter's Mark was a super easy way. They didn't have to spend even any of their mana. They could be on 0 mana, like they just played a bunch of shit, and then on 0 mana, Hunter's Mark your big taunt creature and bust through it. Well, now this says you have to have at least 1 mana to do that. You can't just free bust that big taunt creature because you reduced its health. You have to actually have a mana. So, I like this change. Alrighty. So, that does it for those changes there. Oop, let's not look at that. Let's go switch to this. Minimize that so it's not so bright. Okay. So yeah, that's gonna do it for the review. What time is it? No, I'm probably gonna go to sleep. Thanks for coming out to hang out. It's not a short stream. I did a 6-hour stream of just talking about cards, my brother.
That's why I want to see some gameplay, damn it.
Okay, well, maybe after I get a little bit of food, I'll come back and play some Hearthstone, but shit.
Hearthstone. Play like 2 games on
six hours of talking about cards, my man. I mean, you gotta think. I'm a little tired. I'm a little tired. I'm a little on the tired side. But anyway, okay.
It's not like we normally don't do that.
Thanks for coming out to check out the VOD. I'm gonna put this on YouTube, I think, eventually. I mean, maybe not, because it's a little long.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might try my hand at like editing and try and edit it together, but I don't know. I don't have any good programs for editing, so I might not. Probably just upload it as a VOD and then link the VOD, and you just skip past all of the what?
It's fucking running around down there and you die.
Oh gosh. Yeah, just skip past. We'll probably just skip past all the bad, or, you know, all the in between stuff. But yeah. So I don't know. Then I guess if I'm gonna stream afterwards, I might as well just leave the stream on with some music and go get some meat real quick. So.
So you just turn it off. Just turn it off and then split the pot up. You're not gonna want the very begin. You see, the split happened at the very end of the class cards, where you sort of didn't like split it up at all. We just went in from the very end of the class cards.
We went all through all the neutral cards to.
All the things into another stream about Hearthstone.
No. I went through. So we went through all the class cards, and then the internet broke, and then we came back, and we went through all the neutral cards, and then we went through the basic card nerfs or classic card nerfs. That was it. That's all we did.
And then we have another one.
So okay, so we'll break it up and then do the Hearthstone stream. Okay, so yeah, so Aston, I'll be back.
Crazy.
No, I didn't say you're crazy. Relax.
Crazy.
I didn't say you're crazy. Relax.
I'm fucking crazy.
Anyway, so I will be back. I'm gonna get a little something to eat, and then maybe play a couple games of Hearthstone, and then I might turn it over to Cody unless he's coming to sleep with me when, you know, Kappa. No Kappa. I don't mean that. But anyway. Yeah, I know. It's funny. It's funny. All right. So I will be back. Thanks for watching this part of the VOD. If you are watching this VOD. If you're not watching this as a VOD, you're watching it live, and thanks. Peace. Kill yourself. If you're not watching this as a VOD, kill yourself, according to Cody. Yeah. Okay.
Do it, faggot.
Do it, faggot. Kappa. Kappa 1, 2, 3.